down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis. A two-hand rip. A brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. We have made it to Friday. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Simone closing out the week for us. Simone is, I'll tell you what, right now. Simone, she's earning her paycheck today. Oh. We got a lot of sound.
A lot of sound.
And, and I'm not just
we
saying
might even
this.
have a Simone segment, like a Simone is Simone explains.
That's
Simone
right.
says.
Simone
maybe,
says.
So excited.
By the way, speaking of, I was trying to tag you yesterday, Simone, and I kept thinking in my mind when I posted our Friday Eve conversation. And I was trying to find, I get very upset with Twitter search.
Yes.
Because it's so hard. And I'm typing Simone, and these people that I have no connection to are coming up.
Right.
It's brutal, too. My handle starts with Simone.
Yeah. And I think I put Simone Talks Radio, which would make no sense. So I had to go through, find mutual followers to find Simone, and it's Simone Says Radio. Go follow her if you haven't already. But yeah, that took way too long for me. But Simone will have a Simone Says Radio segment later in the show as we break down the Ipe situation with Shohei and connects it to Real Housewives. And speaking of reality TV, there's going to be a show. So that is coming up to round out the show, and the Celtics are not looking like they are rounded out to form as they lose to Chris's second favorite player, Donovan Mitchell, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Is it just the Celtics getting bored?
It felt to me like yesterday was just like, it might have been a case. It almost in a weird way felt like a Kings game if you're a Celtics fan yesterday, where it's just they couldn't make anything, and then it felt like Cleveland was hitting everything. I mean, I think I saw that Cleveland had every single one of their players shoot over 50% from the field, and the Celtics only had one player shoot over 50% from the field, and that was Peyton Pritchard. Like, it was just a really bad game for them. I know Jason Tatum said some things after the game that I don't really know how to feel about. Because I didn't quite know how to feel about what he was saying. It kind of made it sound like he was downplaying how good, I don't know. It was just a weird performance from Boston. I wouldn't suspect that they're going to have a lot of these. They had a similar game too in last series against Miami, where Miami went ballistic from three. We didn't see that kind of performance from Miami again. It wouldn't surprise me if this is a similar kind of thing with Cleveland. Cleveland shot 46% from three yesterday. I don't know how many times they're going to be able to replicate that and how many times Donovan Mitchell is going to let his teammates shoot the ball like he did yesterday, because I truly do think that that's what led to them having so much success yesterday was you saw Evan Mobley. I love Evan Mobley. He is the guy who, him and Chet Holmgren to me are the two perfect molds for a player you want to put next to Domantas Sabonis. Mm-hmm. They're tall. They can stretch the floor. They protect the rim. They're really smart. They can go inside, outside. They just make perfect sense. And he hasn't really exploded how I think a lot of people expected him to when he was drafted.
Windhorst was roasted him yesterday.
He was taking 2 or 3 in the draft. Like there was a lot of people were drawing like Kevin Garnett comparisons to Evan Mobley when he was coming out of the draft. And I know those things typically are wrong, but that's the kind of, potential that people saw in him was an offensive and defensive monster. And we just haven't really seen it that many times. And so it was good to see him perform like that. And honestly, I am rooting for a good series when it comes to the Celtics because they haven't been challenged all year long. And we've seen in the past how Boston usually does when a team presses them. They have not been able to obviously get the championship ring that they're looking for.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see how they respond to a Cleveland team that's, I think, a little bit better than Miami, but still isn't a world-beating team.
Of course, we are going to break down all of the NBA playoffs and just some weird beefs going on between NFL players and NBA players. So we have that for you. We'll have some fun with it. And you cannot miss 11:30, a Friday edition of Kings Roundtable. Frankie Cartoscelli and Brenden Nunes will be in the building at 11:30. So we go hardcore Kings there at 11:30. But we always will pull things back to the Kings as we are the flagship here for your Sacramento Kings. And the Mavs, Chris, and a team who, it's so funny how each and every year we do this thing, and the collective we, where we tell ourselves it's a 7-game series. It's long.
Right.
We tell ourselves we're not going to overreact to one game.
Right.
And what happens? After one game, man, the Mavs, they were bigger and more athletic than the Clippers. They're only bigger than the Thunder. We don't know how this is going to work. Defensively, the Thunder have more dogs. Offensively, they're more balanced. They have this, they have that. Luka's banged up. Luka was bleeding at one point in the game last night.
He just limps now.
That's all he does.
Like, 3 times a quarter he comes up.
That's all
limp.
he does.
It's wild. I'm just like,
but he limped his way to a victory, and now they split in OKC, and the Mavs are back in the driver's seat once again after everybody had written them off after losing game 1 in a 7-game series.
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard some comments from OKC. They sound pretty chill, pretty relaxed about it. Maybe they're just kind of, putting up a front, but I'd be concerned. I feel like that's not great for OKC. If you're the number 1 seed and you're going against Dallas, who's got a hobbled Luka, and you just lost home court advantage in theory, like, that's not good, because that series is going to Dallas for 2 more games. If I know Luka's hobbled, but it didn't seem to affect the result yesterday. They obviously got a huge performance out of PJ, which now all the PJ stands, everybody who is, the Kings should have traded for PJ.
Hey.
They've been real quiet, but he has one good game, and it was a great game. And I love PJ Washington's game, absolutely. I just think a first-round pick is too much to give up for it.
We'll talk to it, because Brenden wanted PJ back.
He did, yeah. And I'm curious if he thinks that, if a first-round pick is worth it. We've been talking about it all week. But yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a great sign for OKC, because I think this Dallas team is dangerous. I think they definitely need a healthy Luka, but if he's going to be playing these games and he's still going to be performing, I feel like Dallas is a team that I wouldn't want to leave the window open for, because with Kyrie, with Luka, they have enough role players to where if they can get Tim Hardaway, if they can get a PJ Washington,
he balled last night.
That's all they need to put them over the top. So I would not play with my food if I'm OKC.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is one of the most confusing players. As soon as you think you can, I'm not just talking prop talk here, but as soon as you think you can depend on him, he disappears. And I remember listening to the broadcast in the first round, and he got injured during the first round. They said even prior to injury, he was a bit lost. As this Mavs team took off, Tim Hardaway Jr. saw his minutes diminish.
Yeah, he was a huge part for them in the first half. The first half of the season, he was like 6th man of the year candidate right next to Malik.
Because they weren't fully healthy. Kyrie
and they were a
missed
lot
time.
more offensively driven.
Right. So they make these moves. Tim Hardaway Jr. is trying to figure out where I'm going to be. Then he gets injured. He doesn't really help in the first round. But that's what we're talking about. You ain't got to get ready if you stay ready. And Tim Hardaway Jr., please tell me you saw him make the and 1-3 and do the shimmy on the ground.
Yes.
He was on the ground and did a little shimmy. I thought,
so good.
I love that.
I love Tim Hardaway Jr.
That.
I've loved Tim Hardaway Jr. since his rookie year. There's a rookie-sophomore game where him and Dion Waiters go back and forth and are just pulling. Ever since then, I loved him. Got his Knicks jersey his rookie year. He's just like, he's a microwave. Like, he is the ultimate. Like he's feast or famine a lot of the time, but you see when he's hot, like he was last night. And I think he had a game against the Kings earlier this season where he was hot like that too. That's where it's like, that's an X factor. That's almost the definition of an X factor. It's a J.R. Smith kind of thing, where if this dude is on fire for 2 weeks, there might not be anything you can do. Like if Luka's going to draw all this attention and it's just going to be, hey, if Tim Hardaway's hitting his shot today, it's going to be tough for us to win. And he gets hot for 2 weeks. That's how Dallas can really make some noise. And that's why I think yesterday was a really scary. I'd be a little bit nervous if I were OKC.
Well, they're not going to say whether they are or not.
No, for sure. But if I'm a pundit in OKC right now, I would be a little bit cautious to just be certain that this team's going to bounce back, because again, this is where OKC's youth might show.
But Chris, I don't think OKC, whether in the building, out the building, I don't think OKC media, and not that it's all over my timeline.
Yeah.
I think they are nervous. I think they're probably nervous.
I don't know.
Why wouldn't you be? You got Kyrie and Luka.
They love that team.
And a better defensive team on top of that. And the Luka injury stuff, I don't think.
I don't even know how injured he is. Like, I can't tell.
Yeah.
I know it's there. I just don't know how bad it is.
The 831, his new nickname should be Luka Doncic. 831. I don't know.
Okay.
That's a 3.
Okay.
That's a
You
3.
get a chuckle.
You can do better.
Yeah.
You can do better.
Came out of
Speaking
nowhere.
of Tim Hardaway Jr., Tim Hardaway Sr., his pops.
Yeah. He said something the other day, didn't he?
So basically the anonymous, what was it, assistant coach that we spoke about, who said basically it seems like the guys take a deep breath when Luka's not on the floor because you can play.
Right.
Tim Hardaway Sr. then goes on the Carton show, and this is just posted about an hour ago, and he says in a quote, "When Luka's not playing, the ball moves better." And there's more sound there, but we don't need to get into all that. We talked about it a little bit yesterday it's kind of weird that he would say this after a win, but I think that's how people feel. But also I can imagine how my pops would be if I was in the league. My son need the ball more.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Luka good and all. I mean, we've seen this time and time again.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I would take it all with a grain of salt, but we'll see what happens throughout the rest of this series. Coming up next, we continue the conversation. A familiar name is back in the coaching carousel, and I asked Chris, what does it take to get out of the carousel? Are you just stuck in the carousel forever? It's a great business model. Also, we play that sound on Jason Tatum and making excuses. Are you an alpha or are you not? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings
Out
game.
of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Some people just know safe drivers save more with Allstate. Just like they know that's the mating call of a blue-footed booby and not a green-footed booby. Yeah, some people know that. And they know if you're a safe driver, you can save up to 40% with Allstate. Ain't that something?
Based on the national average premium savings for Allstate customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Before we get into the familiar name that is the front runner for the Suns, we spent a lot of time, I wouldn't say a lot of time, but the face of the NBA conversation, and we had on a Celtics writer when the Kings were going to play the Celtics, and he so famously said, and this really just stuck with Chris. I think Chris still hears it in his nightmares. What is it? You'll have a puncher's chance? Is that what he said?
Yeah, he said, I think the Kings have a puncher's chance tonight.
And then they proceeded to wipe the floor with the Kings, put in
and
their
then
backups.
give them a puncher's chance.
And then still win.
Yeah.
So
yes, that's so true.
So we were also talking with him about Jason Tatum, and he said, look, if you look at how the league feels about Jason Tatum, he's got Ruffles commercials. I think he does Subway as well. He has a lot of commercials. But as far as the culture in the streets, I don't know. This is how I would say it. How many kids out there say, besides Deuce, his son, and I don't even know if Deuce would say he's his favorite player. How many kids out there would say Jason Tatum is my favorite player? Because that's how I do face of the NBA.
Yeah, I think with kids, he probably is more popular than he is with adults.
Really?
I would think because of all those things, like because of the Ruffles commercial, because he is like, he has that commercial with Mike Breen too, where he's like Mike Breen's commenting commentating his day and stuff like that. I would think that he probably has a good like approval rating, if you will, with kids, but I do actually think NBA fans probably have a lower opinion on Jason Tatum than what I think like just general populace is. And yeah, I'm looking at a top selling NBA jersey list right here. Jason Tatum's number 2.
Really?
I think he's popping with the kids.
We're old.
I think he's popping with the kids. It's just I think that
does he have a signature shoe?
I know
he's on Jordan brand, right?
Yes, he's on Jordan brand. It wouldn't surprise me if he does, but nobody wears that thing. That's for sure. Nobody except for him.
He does. Yeah, I'm almost back in the game. Literally, but I've never seen someone roll up.
Never.
What you got on, homeboy?
People have the Hardens on these days. Yeah,
I got on some JTs.
Anthony Edwards is about to get
I don't
a big
even know. Let me
rollout.
see. First of all, I don't like them.
No, those are trash.
They look like CP3s to me.
Yeah, those are not good.
Which
all
nobody
the Jordan
wore.
brand shoes look trash. Like the Luka's, because Luka has his own signature shoe too.
He's
with
number
Jordan. It looks
2?
terrible.
Are we sure they're
terrible.
not companies buying his jersey?
Sure? I just don't. I think if the bigger point is that I don't know how respected he is amongst NBA fan bases, like, or amongst, the general NBA fandom, I would probably agree that he's like for how popular he is. I don't think he's actually that number in terms of best player in the league. Like if if he's number 2 in jersey sales, I don't think he's in that top 3 of NBA players.
Right. So, maybe I'm wrong on this. All right. But the reason I think it might be different between the kids and I guess hoop heads, if you will, wherever that distinction is because Jason Tatum says some interesting things. In 2022, when they were in the finals, what did he say? I never said I was a superstar or I never considered myself a superstar. So he said something like that. And I'm thinking, man, what are we doing here? Right. So he says that. And then he says this after the loss last night to the Cavs.
Right. The world thinks we're never supposed to lose. We're supposed to win every game by 25. And it's not going to be like that all the time. So, we don't expect it to be easy. It's a good team we playing. It's the second round of the playoffs. So it's just going to be fun the rest of the series, and especially come Saturday. But, we've bounced back plenty of times. We lost, 16 games this year? So I would like to think that we respond pretty well the few times that we did lose. That's the narrative that you might see on TV. The idea that we have a super team. It's twofold, right? We didn't have the coach of the year. We didn't have the MVP. We only had 2 All-Stars. So they say we're a super team, but, we didn't get rewarded like we are.
I'm glad Angie helped me out to get the coffee before the show because I would be asleep. What are we talking about? He's Mike Trout. He's literally Mike Trout.
Crazy.
He's Mike Trout.
That was very much.
I know they just lost.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I have also issue with what he was saying too, because it's
that's why I played it.
Yeah.
But then I heard it.
Yeah, no, he put all of our radio listeners to sleep for sure. It's just like you are a super team. Like, this, especially the modern super team. If we were considering, KD, Book, and Beal a big 3, then I would say this Celtics team definitely has to be considered a super team. Now, of course, there's tiers, there's levels to what a super team is, and I would say overall quality, they're up there with some of the best super teams. But yeah, I think when you're talking Steph Curry, KD, and Clay versus Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Porzingis, yeah, I would say that probably I'd take the Warriors version of a super team more. But when you've got Drew Holiday, who is one of the best guard defenders in the NBA, is coming off a title with the Bucks a couple years ago, is going to be Team USA's point guard. You've got Jaylen Brown, who's been to every single year he's been in the NBA, he's either been in the conference finals or in the NBA finals. Jason Tatum, pretty much the same thing. Porzingis he was the original unicorn. Like Porzingis is somebody who has been a freak since he entered the league. Health, and he's injured right now, is the only thing that has held him back from being one of the best players in the NBA. If Porzingis never got injured, he's probably up there with the Embiid, Jokic league conversation, but that just hasn't been how his career went. And then Al Horford is one of the best glue guy centers I think we have in the modern age. Like, I think that is the and then I haven't even mentioned the bench where you got Peyton Pritchard over there who's making good money and is signed and is one of the best efficient guards, backups in the league. They're stacked. They're absolutely stacked. They got Brad Stevens up top, who's one of the youngest executives in the league and was a great young coach. Yeah, Joe Mazzulla isn't great. He's only in his second year, but if that's the worst part of your team and you have a super team around him, we've seen Luke Walton bring a super team to a certain level. I think Joe Mazzulla can do it. So it's just I have no time for Jason Tatum's excuses.
But there's a way to say what he's trying to say without basically saying I'm not that guy, because that's what I'm hearing. I'm not that guy. Yeah. What he's saying is,
if you thought you were that guy, then you would be like, yeah, like we have the Monstars.
Of course, exactly. What he's trying to say is that, hey, we have a really good team,
right?
But no, we're not gonna smack every team every single game.
Kobe, Shaq, Lakers,
right? We're gonna have off games, but going the route of we're not a super team. Okay, that's because he's doing this I'm not a superstar thing again. Because if he believes he's a superstar with everything you just said, you have your man's on the left, no pun intended, because he has no left. Jaylen Brown is the highest paid player in the league. He's the highest paid player in the league. Derek White.
I didn't even mention Derek White, who's like
Derek White.
He's discount Steph Curry.
Everybody said Derek White should have been an all-star. You know what
Steph
I mean?
And Clay mixed together.
Look, Jason, I'm gonna tell you right now, the streets are talking. They're saying you can't win when Derek White doesn't carry you. Derek White had a terrible game last night, and they lost. And Jason Tatum's going to sit up there and say, we don't have a super team. Stop it. I'm telling you, I don't want anything to do with Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
There are so many dudes on my list. If there was a big fish list and they made Jason Tatum available, he wouldn't be – maybe as a 2, maybe as an elite 2. No, I'm serious now.
No,
I'm serious because I'm hard on De'Aaron Fox. And De'Aaron, he doesn't do half the stuff – he doesn't say half of the ridiculous stuff that Jason Tatum says. And De'Aaron – De'Aaron on the Celtics, I'll tell you this much: he would not be making no excuses like that.
No, definitely not.
He might, he might just say 2 words and get up out of there, but he ain't gonna be making excuses like that.
Deuce is cool though.
916. I know we got to get to it. 916. If you guys had to pick only one, Tatum or Brown, I like Brown more. Tatum just cruises way too much. I know he has more potential.
It depends what kind of team you have around him for sure.
We know
there's an argument for Jaylen Brown for sure. But
from Steven, hopping on the text line, Jason Tatum is not a dog in any way, shape, or form. Charmin soft. That is from Steven. And look, I hope he proves me wrong. Somebody like him. He got the number 2 jersey sales.
Right.
I'll have to fact check that because I've never seen anybody rocking a Tatum jersey. But maybe it's because we're out here in Sacramento. All right, when we return, Shams on the coaching carousel and where this former coach lands. And am I crazy or is Chris right on the Jason Tatum thing? Is he a dog? Are we being too hard on him? Where does he fall? Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's finally Friday. We're looking at plenty of sunshine, a light northwest wind. It's going to feel warmer this afternoon with highs peaking in the lower 90s and expecting, if you're heading out for the evening, temperatures dropping off to the upper 50s overnight tonight. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for special offers right now. I'm Coach Doug Christie urging you to visit my friends at Folsom Lake Kia and save big on your next new or certified pre-owned vehicle right now. Visit FolsomLakeKia.com.
Hi, it's Brian from Bennett's Restaurants. Mother's Day is a special day we all enjoy, and we'd love to see you and your mom over the Mother's Day holiday weekend. Come and enjoy prime seafoods and steak. This year, we are featuring a Caribbean spiny lobster tail. They are large and succulent. We serve them with drawn butter, fresh asparagus with hollandaise at our Bennett's Restaurants in Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. We offer big variety on the menu as well, so you're sure to find the food you crave. Visit Bennett'sRestaurants.com for reservations. That's Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Eat well and stay well.
In a world where everybody and their mother makes a primed trim board, contractors have to ask one question. Do I know what's under the primer? Available at just about every lumberyard you can imagine. Vintage trim boards are made from lodgepole pine. That's the stuff telephone poles and railroad ties are made of. It's durable. It's straight. It's been doing the job for generations. Manufactured right here in the USA. Ask for it by name. VintageTrimboards.com.
My father was a career United States Air Force pilot, and Memorial Day is a reminder of all he and so many others did for our country. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Right now at the annual Memorial Day sale, everything in the store is on sale. Everything. You'll save 10 to 25% on all living rooms, to sofas, to sectionals, to dining rooms, to bedrooms, to home offices, and so much more. Everything is on sale right now at Naturewood Home Furnishings Memorial Day sale. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, it's all available for you at savings from 10 to 25% at Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishing, off Highway 50 in Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Guys, are you ready to give up because you think you've tried everything and you're still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Sacramento has local medical providers that offer low T and ED treatments customized to each patient's unique physical makeup. By working with a specialized compounding lab, personalized treatments are guaranteed, even when generic pills and supplements haven't worked. It all starts with your free comprehensive exam and consultation. Availability is limited. Book today, and for this month only, Revive offers qualified patients a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. The experts at Revive Men's Health Sacramento will work to provide the right treatment for you so you can show up as the best you in all aspects of your life. Call 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or send them a private message at revivemenshealth.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Cattleman's.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can step, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can step, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 20 or more select self-leveling underlayment. Plus, save an extra 5% every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Visit us for the materials you need. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store at lowes.com/credit for details.
This segment is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville. Check them out at kiavacaville.com.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
From the 209 last playoffs, Tatum was having a terrible game, getting clowned on social media all night, only to turn it up at the end and call himself humble. Was an all-timer. I'm not sure if I understood that one.
I don't know. Sounds like a Celtics fan.
Yeah. I mean, look, I have nothing against Jason Tatum. I just don't know what to do with Jason Tatum.
Yeah, he's a great player. I mean, it's him and De'Aaron were in the same draft class. And again, like I said, Jason Tatum, I believe, has been in the conference finals or the finals just about every year of his career. And De'Aaron's only been to the first round. So it's not that he hasn't been good enough to accomplish a lot. I think it's just we always talk about it. There's levels to everything. And Jason Tatum's at that. Is he to your point, exactly what you just said in the last segment? Do you like him as a number two? As a number two, really good, as maybe like a top tier number two option. But that's where he's trying to break out. It's like, is he good enough to be the best player on a title winning team? He's good enough to get you there, like Jimmy Butler. He's good enough to get you there, but is he good enough to put you over the top? It's just being determined. And I do think there's a little bit of unfairness because, again, he's the same age as De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron is so young, and this is about the time where everybody starts to get to now I can win a championship. I just think some of it's been a little premature, but at the same time, he's been in a lot of situations and has not, besides, he's come through in a good amount of situations, but it just hasn't been good enough. He hasn't been able to package it all together to ultimately win a championship. But, at the same time, that's part of it.
The reason I think that people are harder on Jason Tatum, and I'll just speak for myself, is because, and we talk about this with Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft, when I have always likened it to a kid that is born to a certain family, right? You're born into a rich family, you're born into a not so rich family, and what do you do with that? Some people just coast and enjoy being rich. Some people take it to another level. And Jason Tatum is part of a first-class organization who was given a stimulus package and has been given so many opportunities to succeed. So that's why I'm not comparing him to De'Aaron Fox, because De'Aaron Fox has never played with a roster close to what Jason Tatum has played with. That's why the age thing is legit, and he can win, and this whole point will be moot. But that's why I don't look at it the same, because time and time again, the Celtics have given him things to work with, and they haven't been unsuccessful, but they haven't gotten over the hump. And to me,
I just mean he's still in the learning process.
That's yeah. And he got into the league so young. If he walks away with only one ring, I think that's a letdown, in my opinion. When you look back at all the teams that they would have had by the time he's done, and if he only gets one, I would say
he should get two by the end of it, especially if he stays in Boston.
Yes.
It's like, you should be able to build something around this guy. And if they have Jaylen Brown locked up, like if they have both of those two locked up and they only win one championship, or if they win, I mean, that's what Paul George and Kawhi have done. It's definitely a disappointment. I would say they have to get two, especially with how many times they have been so close. Nobody, not even like the Denver Nuggets, have as much experience, especially at that age, as those two guys. And if they can't parlay that into something useful for their future, I don't know what this whole process has been for.
I don't want to hear anything about the Nuggets. I don't want to hear anything about the Timberwolves. It's still on the Celtics to get it done. The Bucks, your biggest competition, you beat
they bowed out 2 straight years.
Yeah, the Bucks, they couldn't stay healthy. The Heat, your biggest foe, you finally beat them. There are no excuses.
Yeah. Sixers done.
Sixers done as well, because they had terrible seeding due to Joel Embiid not being healthy. There are no excuses.
Happen every year.
And I'll tell you this much, they go on and they lose to the Timberwolves. Jason Tatum ain't going to be number 2 on the jersey sales next season.
Probably not.
It's going to be Anthony Edwards, right? That's exactly who it's going to be. All right, before we get to Shams on the coaching carousel, a name that Chris had on the big man free agent list has popped up. Jonas Valanciunas, the Pelicans, pure Mike Scotto. The Pelicans are not expected to re-sign Jonas Valanciunas. Chris, I'm just not really sure. I like him, but with Alex Len, I don't know if you have all three on your roster.
Here in Sacramento. Oh, yeah. My thought process for that was really just I feel like that's a high-level center that you could maybe steal some minutes next to Sabonis, but also just giving Sabonis 15 to 20 minutes of rest. Valanciunas, I think, is just kind of I don't really want to call him empty calories, but he's somebody who can keep the points going. Right. He's a very big isolation scorer. We saw when New Orleans played us all 7, 8, 9, 10 of those times. they would just run these ISO post ups for Valanciunas, and he just kind of goes to work. He's a really big body. He's a big body. He's got the midi that everybody wants Sabonis to have.
And like from the same place. Why can't he teach Sabonis the midi?
Maybe he will this summer in the Olympics. That's the
true.
hope. And maybe Sabonis can do a little recruiting. The question is, how much is Jonas going to make, and like what other situation? He is a dying breed. Like, let's just face
you
the
would
facts.
keep all three of them.
No, probably. Well, I would keep Alex Len as a breaking case of emergency center.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you did have JaVale,
he's on a $3 million
Jonas with
contract.
JaVale.
Yeah, he's on a $3 million contract. But the Jonas Valanciunas made $15 million next year. I don't know what his market's going to be. I don't know if people still, like I said, he's a dying breed. Like, there's not many big, plotting 7-foot centers who are kind of defensive liabilities. The Nikola Vucevic's, the Valanciunas, Steven Adams of the world. They don't really play a ton of minutes, and they have use, but a lot of the time in today's modern league, they ended up getting off the floor for, guys like Trey Lyles, guys like Jaden McDaniels, or, just more versatile, stretchy kind of guys. Usually they don't stay on the floor that long. So that's kind of the fear of signing Jonas Valanciunas long-term. I just think he could be a really, really good bench piece, especially if they lose Malik Monk. I think Jonas Valanciunas, you can give him the mid-level exception at $12.9 million. Maybe that's even too much. Again, I don't know what his value is going to be out there. I don't know what teams look at themselves and say, we need just kind of a big, productive center, but I don't know what the value is when he's not, a Jokic, he's not an Embiid, he's not a Sabonis.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of like a middle class of big men, and we know big men again are pretty much going extinct in this league.
And I'm pretty sure you said Plumlee is also going to be a free agent. So they're all kind of in the same ilk.
I think
somebody's going to sign them.
Is at the top.
No, I agree.
He's at the top.
I think somebody's going to sign them. The question is just for how much.
Yeah.
And no one's going to say no to size.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of how important is it to you? How much will you pay? Shout out Carmichael Dave. You'll probably hear the ad right when we take this one. All right. When we return, Shams on the coaching carousel. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they helped me. They calmed me down. They made me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hagen Oaks Demo Days is in the home stretch, and this is your last chance to register for an individual fitting appointment with the manufacturer's fitting staff from Ping, TaylorMade, Mizuno, Callaway, Cleveland, Strixon, and Zexio. You've waited many long months for the new golf season, and Hagen Oaks has your new golf gear right now. Book your individual Hagen Oaks Demo Days fitting appointment. Call 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for your personal fitting. Hagen Oaks, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway or hagenoaks.com.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
At Elk Grove Honda, we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we'd buy from ourselves. And right now, you'll find interest rates as low as 1.99% APR on approved credit. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection. See our exceptional selection of Elk Grove Honda certified pre-owned Hondas with interest rates as low as 1.99% APR on approved credit. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
These beefs are just not letting up. And we have a whole segment on the beefs, right? The weird beefs. That's after the roundtable. Now this thing has gone to another level. So the two beefs is Austin Rivers versus James Jones, because Austin Rivers won a Pat McAfee
Not the
show.
GM, James Jones.
James Jones from the Packers, who's on FS1 and does a show on FS1. Austin Rivers and what he had to say about the NFL players versus NBA players, it really made James Jones upset.
Struck a chord.
Really. So we have the back and forth between those guys, okay? And as we already had Shannon Sharpe versus Shaq, so Shannon Sharpe was not a fan, the same way Chris and I weren't fans of what Shaq did and what Shaq said to Jokic. Shannon Sharpe had some things to say on one of his 18 shows, and Shaq responds. They go back and forth, and I'm not kidding you. On a Freestyle Friday,
That's right.
we thought the featured rapper was going to be A Sizzle. A Sizzle gets to turn the mic off today because Shaq Diesel has dropped a diss track to Shannon Sharpe. That is around 12:30, 12:45, our Weird Beef segment. This thing is bizarre. This is what happens. This is peak summer. Yeah. This is the most peak summer content I have ever been a part of.
Nuts.
And it is a full-blown diss track. Shaq to Shannon Sharpe. I'll tell you one thing. Shaq does know how to market, even if he didn't feel like working out in the gyms and things like that. That's basically what Shannon Sharpe was saying. If you had my work ethic, you would have been the best. So you don't want to miss that. Okay? I just heard a clip during one of the breaks. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. You know, what else is ridiculous is this back and forth now with the fouling. So after the Pacers come out and say 78 calls have been missed, well, if you are the Knicks, you're not just going to sit there and take it. And there were some things from TJ McConnell and things that we saw from how the Pacers were defending Jalen Brunson that did go uncalled. So now the Knicks have said, okay, you want to play that way?
Two can play at that game.
Now the Knicks have come out and said members of the Knicks organization are frustrated with the officiating of Jalen Brunson in the Pacers series. They believe he is continuously grabbed and hit throughout the game, and the referees are not noticing it. This game is going to be insane. You know, when you golf and people say rate of play, pace of play, you're behind your pace. This is going to be an ugly, choppy, terrible game.
Yeah.
There's no way this game's going to be good.
Now they have to keep it. Now they almost have to satisfy both teams and call everything instead of going from calling nothing at all. It's going to be a mess.
I'm so excited. Happy Friday.
Simone's like, let's bring out the 2x4s and, let's just make it an
reminds me of, what is
gross.
it? Anchorman.
Yeah.
Anchorman, when the two news networks fight each other.
Yeah.
That's basically what this is going to be. Well, there was really not too much fight in the Suns, and that's why they're in Cancun and or Cabo right now. And they're looking for a new coach. And as the coaching carousel continues to go on and on and on, you can't put enough quarters in that thing. It continues to spin. A name that we've heard before. A lot of people think that maybe he didn't get a fair shake with his last team in Milwaukee. Mike Budenholzer, you are up next. He is the front runner for the Suns position, and Shams has more on it.
Frank Vogel is out as Phoenix head coach, and sources tell me Bucks 2021 championship head coach Mike Budenholzer is the leader for the Suns' open head coaching role. A few names are expected to be on the Suns list, but Mike Budenholzer is the focus. There is high intrigue over the Suns' job in coaching circles due to Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal, and Budenholzer is seen as a leading person to optimize the big three offensively. And along with the new head coach, the Suns will be aggressive around the edges of their roster. They do have up to 2 first-round picks eligible to be traded on draft night.
Oh, boy. And I'm just seeing here, this is from earlier today. Shams reported that the deal that they're expected to reach is supposed to be an 8-figure per year, which
for Budenholzer,
which would put him, I believe, at least top 5, because I know we found out Monty Williams last year was, when he got signed to Detroit, was the biggest contract. And I think that was 13 or 15 mil, and Pop was right under him. And then I think Steve Kerr was right under him. And so I would imagine this puts Budenholzer in that top 5 if he's making 10 mil plus.
Why is that? He ain't got no job.
He ain't got no job for sure. I think it's
for the Lakers.
It's just the fact that it's pedigree. It's the fact that, the last 2 teams he was on, the Bucks, and then before that, the Atlanta Hawks, that just continued to lose to LeBron's teams. At the very least, they were all really good teams. Like, they were continually the number 1 seeds in the Eastern Conference, and they just never were able to get over the hump. That was the Budenholzer thing, was he could continue to pull out. I mean, those Atlanta teams were ridiculous. They had their starting 5 was all named the player of the month. They were incredible, but they could just never beat LeBron's Cleveland team. And then, in Milwaukee, it was pretty much a similar story until they eventually, as we all know, won the 1 year. But he has been a guy who's been good in the regular season, but come postseason just hasn't been able to get it done. So I guess the Phoenix Suns are just kind of hoping for, at the very least, we have Kevin Durant, we have Bradley Beal, we have Devin Booker. We feel like we should be easily a top 4 seed. So I guess that's the thought process, is at the very least, we should be a certain caliber of team, and we're not even showing that.
Well, yes. And you could make the argument that maybe it would be one of his most talented teams that he's had a chance to work with. So you give a guy like that type of talent, he should be able to utilize it.
From Arizona as well. He's from Holbrook, Arizona.
Of course.
So, there you go.
Naturally.
Well, 4 minutes ago, now it's saying, it's still saying expected. It's not literally.
It's insane that this all moves so fast too. Little suspicious.
Can you guys count? Do you guys know how many head coaches Mr. Durant has ran through?
I think I saw that. Was it 8? 6? Yeah.
In like the past, whatever.
Do you also want to pair how many playoff wins since? With all of those coaches, how many playoff wins has
with the series? Was it 2?
They got 6 last year.
2.
Didn't they?
2 series wins.
Oh, 2 series wins. Yes.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Look at this, and I knew that this is what I was looking for. This is from USA Today, right? The Bucks owe around $18 million to 3 head coaches. This because they just get rid of these coaches
left and right.
But that's my point on this contract. Unless this guy just they end up being world beaters.
Right.
He's gonna get fired before his contract ends.
Probably.
And they just is monopoly money.
I mean, but they just fired Vogel 1 year into his 4-year, $31 million contract.
And they have to
pay that out. So they will still be paying Frank Vogel. He'll be chilling on his couch, but he'll be making bags. And I don't know how many more years Monty Williams had left on his contract, but he's not pressed for cash either. So
money.
Matt Ishbia, at least he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's talking all this talk like, there's no way we're going to be this bad. And, we're actually not that bad. People would kill to be in the position we're in. At the very least, homeboy's throwing money at the problem.
In theory, Budenholzer, when he was fired, reportedly had 2 years and $16 million.
Man.
A measly $16 million
dream.
Remaining on his contract. But this is
I
what
mean,
I wanted to say.
The part's not great,
right.
It's a nice
I don't care.
Yeah, that's early retirement, baby.
The point of the segment is the hamster wheel that this is.
But that's what I'm saying.
Vogel will probably. I know he didn't do great in Orlando.
Somebody will take him.
But someone will take him. Or if he wants, he could be an assistant and just chill on the bench and not take, live the life of the NBA, but not take any of the pressure of it.
And let me tell you why. When you get some people, it's happened to me before, when you get laid off, right, and you get the money after you get laid off, okay, that's basically what these dudes are getting.
Oh, yeah.
So Vogel, if he got fired 1 year into a, 4-year deal.
4-year, $31 million.
He's got 3 years to do nothing if he wants to.
Yep.
And then just like Budenholzer, by the time that money is running out, he'll get hired again.
Yes.
So the money just never stops.
Never stops.
I'm
sure it'll work for CBS Radio or something in the meantime, too.
Yeah, you have to do some type of, you have to say something that is just not allowed these days to get out of the coach. Once you're in that carousel,
it
is the best. I mean, it is the best situation because somebody will always say, I think that the NBA culture and NFL, all of them, NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, I'm always going to, if this guy is at any level of success, I'd rather go with him than someone new, unless it's just a can't miss dude. And that's why, I mean, maybe they go with JJ, but in LA, but once you're in that cycle, I think GMs and owners are just afraid of trying something new. And and to that point, and I know we got to get to it. To that point, as we talk about, is the goal really to win a championship? Or is the goal to say, I know we could win a championship. Maybe not that it's for sure, but I know that we could, and that the fans will not take it for granted because at least you're in the playoffs. All right, when we return, Patrick Beverley suspended, but for how long? And we play his quote-unquote apology. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, the A's vastly improved play this year has certainly been noticed around baseball. Mason Miller was named the American League Reliever of the Month for March and April. And by the way, no runs allowed in April. And Brent Rooker is the most recent Player of the Week, a week that featured 2 homers in 1 inning against the Miami Marlins at the Coliseum.
Want more speed? Well, Xfinity just increased their internet speeds, and they're faster than ever. It's time to get more out of your internet with faster speeds from Xfinity. Now through June 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for only $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. That's double the speed for the same great price. Click, call, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and other charges extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Sacramento sports fans, get ready to amp up your summer with the Sactown Sports live events calendar. We've got a lineup that's awesome. First up on May 24th, don't miss Tribal Seeds as they bring their reggae beats to Ace of Spades, presented by Live Nation. And mark your calendar for June 8th when NF takes the stage at the Golden One Center. Visit livenation.com for tickets and get ready for a killer high-energy show. Don't miss music legends Daryl Hall and Elvis Costello with the Imposters on June 12th, and NSYNC and Backstreet artists Joey Fatone and AJ McLean on June 22nd. 2 great shows coming in June to Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Then looking ahead to August 4th, get ready for the Outlaw Music Festival at the Toyota Amphitheater, presented by Live Nation. The Sactown Sports live events calendar, your ultimate playbook for the best shows and events in town. Stay tuned to Sactown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
Welcome to the May Springtime Sales Event at Kia of Vacaville, where we're celebrating the arrival of a new season with unbeatable lease options on our 2024 lineup. As May blossoms with possibilities, it's the perfect time to immerse yourself in the exhilarating world of Kia, highlighted by the luxurious and versatile Kia Telluride. Throughout the May Springtime Sales Event, Kia of Vacaville is thrilled to showcase our top models with irresistible lease offers. Experience the thrill of driving the all-new Kia Sportage, seamlessly blending captivating design with dynamic performance. Dive into the impressive fuel efficiency of the Kia Niro, a hybrid marvel designed to extend your adventures. Embrace the essence of spring with our eco-friendly Kia hybrid options, specifically tailored for those who prioritize efficiency without compromising on style. With the EV9 in stock, Kia of Vacaville stands as your premier destination for electric excitement. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia of Vacaville for more details.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Go for the gold May 1st through July 27th during Sky River Casino's $1 million Road to Glory giveaway. Play daily for a chance to win free play, cash, or your choice of a Lincoln Nautilus, GMC Sierra, or Ford Mustang GT every Saturday. Get 100 bonus entries by earning 100 tier credits every Monday and Tuesday, plus 1 free daily entry at our promotional kiosks. Victory could be yours during the $1 million Road to Glory giveaway at Sky River Casino. Visit skyriver.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
I believe that the morning show had some type of bet going on with how long Patrick Beverley would be suspended.
Let me grab some sound.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
He ended up getting suspended. I mean, I think even on this show, Chris, we talked about could he be cooked?
Yeah.
Right? And not that he would be suspended for the year,
Right.
but does somebody want to deal with that? I mean, 4 games between Jamal Murray. I'll put it to you like this. Between Jamal Murray not getting suspended, only $100K. I know, relatively speaking, only $100K.
Yeah.
And Patrick Beverley, 4 games for that. And they included the media thing, too, in the 4 games. They mentioned it as well. So the whole thing, pretty charming.
Yeah.
Pretty charming as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
For both of them.
Yeah. I would yes, definitely. Yeah. For both of them, absolutely. I still need some explanation on the Jamal Murray thing.
Yeah.
Like that to me is like, I know people try and make, obviously we were just talking about the Knicks Pacers refs thing. People make a big deal about the refs thing and how that's, oh yeah, the NBA showing favoritism. I don't understand how what Jamal Murray did is not the prime example of the NBA showing favoritism.
Yes.
To me, that's a lot more of, hey, you're the defending champs. If we suspend your second best player, your point guard for game 3 and you're down 0-2, the series is over. Yeah, like we're essentially, it's Draymond, you could argue, I mean, Draymond, at least his team was up, but it's just, to me, that's a way more blatantly obvious. I'm not this person, but if Draymond, or I think I heard Kendrick Perkins say if he did that, he would have been suspended, no doubt. Like he's suspended at least 2 games.
Yeah.
So the fact that Jamal gets just a hefty fine and no suspension is crazy. 4 games for Patrick Beverley. I didn't even consider the post game with the do you subscribe to my podcast as a part of the suspension as well. Yeah, when you factor in everything he did, that should be 5 to 10 games.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and especially just to set an example, because that's not really a specific incident we have had before. I would think that probably could have deserved more than 4 games.
I have those details from the morning show if we'd like to listen.
Yes, quickly, Sham says, just to confirm with you, Chris, Beverley's 4-game suspension is for forcefully throwing a basketball multiple times at spectators and an inappropriate interaction with a reporter during media availability on May 2nd. So they were both included 4 games.
Interesting.
Maybe 2 each is nuts. Or 3-1.
Yeah,
3 for the throwing, 1 for the.
That makes the most combo sense to me. It's just like, I don't. That's too light for me, and I do still wonder. I mean, 4 is probably. I thought it was going to be at least 5, but I don't know if that'll hold him back from being signed. But who knows? It depends how much in league circles people were offended by what happened in the locker room.
All right, Simone, let's hear what the guys had going on in the morning show as far as this little wager for how long Bev was going to get suspended.
Yes, I will just add this caveat that I believe Dave, let's just hear from Dave and I'll backfill it if I need.
Okay.
Remember this. If Patrick Beverley isn't suspended for more than 5 games next year, I will donate $1,000 to the charities of your choices. 500 and 500. I swear to God, that's how confident I am.
A rack.
Open up the wallet, sir.
50? How many games?
No, he said 5.
5. Oh, I don't know why
5.
I heard 50.
Yeah.
5. Oh, it was 4.
Pay up. Cash App, Venmo.
It's a bad beat if I've ever seen it.
That is a bad beat.
That's a bad beat.
But to be fair to Dave and to be fair to the situation with Jamal Murray, they've made it very clear that your history matters.
Yeah.
So based on that, I guess Jamal Murray hasn't had any instances. And so that one, okay. Patrick Beverley has. Yes. He almost broke. It looked like CP. He got whiplash.
A habitual line stepper. Yeah.
He had whiplash.
Yes.
Okay. So, and Westbrook didn't like it because it almost felt like he was trying to hurt Westbrook. So 4 is crazy. And maybe it's because Adam Silver subscribes to his pod. Who knows?
Probably.
All right. Let's get to Pat Bev's quote unquote apology on his podcast.
What I did was
bad.
and that should have never happened. I have to be better, and I will be better. That should have never happened. Regardless of what was said, that should have never happened. Simple as that. Let's just say it was more than Cancun on 3.
Okay, so that report from Shams was just a fraction of the story.
Let's just say it was more than that. I've been called a lot of stuff in this league. I haven't been called that one. Still unexcused, but it doesn't matter what was said. I have to be better, and I will be better. I'm not going to take away from the fans that were great. It was some people that took it a little bit too far. I'm here to set the record straight. I was absolutely wrong, and I need to be better, and I will. I'm not the guy to get fans kicked out neither. The things that were said to me, I could have got 4 or 5 fans kicked out. Literally, security walked up to me. You want to get that fan thrown out? Nah, man. You can say anything when you win it. That's what happens when you win. You can literally say anything. And some people would have said, Pat, man, you should have got him kicked out. That would have never happened. I'm not getting no fans kicked out. People who spend money to watch us play, I'm not getting them kicked out. We in layup line. I'm on the bench with the ball. Fan to the right of me. Say something crazy. I get up to him, man, you can boo me, but don't call me that. I go shake Rick Carlisle's hand. Fan say something crazy to me. I'm looking like, man, like you can say anything, just don't be disrespectful. He apologized too. Everyone who stepped out of line and said something like too crazy, all of them apologized. It was just some people who, just crossed the line a little bit.
Can't throw basketballs at people.
No, will not.
Will never happen again.
Never. I ain't bring the basketball on the bench no more, man.
I think I'm more confused.
I'm so confused. I was thinking the same thing.
Is this all the same fan?
So glad. I'm like,
is this all the same fan?
Because he said multiple people stepped over the line. Some people stepped too far over the line.
But I'm not getting anybody kicked out. But I will throw a basketball.
That was my whole thing. Is I'm not going to get anybody kicked out. But you're still going to get I'm still going. Your payment for not getting kicked out is you're going to get a basketball
in the grill.
At your face.
You're going to get this 90 miles per hour.
That's Beverley justice right there.
Judge Judy.
If you throw a basketball at me, I'm going to have some words for you, too.
Yeah. And Chris and I talked a little bit before the show about this, and we're really trying to be careful because we were not there.
Right.
But the stuff that these people are very close to the court. So he didn't bring up, he said, you want to get the security guards came up, but your teammates didn't hear anything. Can we get some, and maybe I'm getting lost in the details, but can we get some corroboration here?
Yeah.
If you're going to go down the route of, I'm not going to say what they said, but just know if you knew, you probably would be okay with what I did. That's what he's saying.
Yes, essentially.
That's what he's saying.
That is not even essentially what he's saying. That is what he is saying. Absolutely. That is what he is saying.
But I know I can't do that.
But
regardless of if they call me something I've never heard before in all my years of basketball, whether it's in college, in Europe, or here, and nobody else heard it but me.
With the racist in
that's what that's
undertone. Yeah,
that's what it sounds like.
Yes.
I don't know what else it could be.
I don't know either.
I don't know. Yeah.
Unless it's
I agree with you.
I don't know if he has kids for the
I don't think it's getting
like a father
lost
thing?
in the
I don't know.
details. I think it's an important thing. And like my thing, what is the explanation for not, because Westbrook has done this as well, where he says, I'm not going to tell y'all what they said. I don't know if they say out of respect for the situation or, because I don't want to give fuel to that kind of fire or whatever. But I just don't see what it's already a big story. It's already a big situation. You're not adding anything. It's already got tons of attention. I don't think throwing, what the quote was is going to affect it at all, or it might make it a little bigger, but it's already big. I just don't see what the harm would be in cluing people in, because it would add context. It is a necessary detail. It doesn't change the fact that what Beverley did was okay or not okay, but it's just a very important detail to maybe help your case in understanding, okay, I don't agree with his action, but at least like he's, I think, trying to say, you might at least understand why I went to red where typically I could calm it down in my head.
Let me be very clear here. And Chris and I, we try to keep things above the water here, but I do want to step into the other side to make it clear that we're not saying that this isn't possible.
Yes.
What was it just last week? That kid from Ole Miss, there was a protest, and the fraternity kid was doing monkey sounds towards a black woman. He gets kicked out of the frat.
Yep.
So are we saying that this stuff doesn't happen?
Absolutely.
No, we're not saying that at all. Not. What we're saying is for Pat Bev to say something in all of his years he's never heard, to refuse to say what it is, and to have not bring up his teammates or anybody else besides allegedly security guards saying you want us. Where were the security guards? How did the security guards hear it and not the teammates?
Right.
He didn't see Rick Carlisle. He said when he shook hands with
Rick Carlisle didn't turn around. Oh, I'm talking to Rick Carlisle. Say something crazy. Oh, I'm sitting near the scoreboard. They say something crazy. I'm on the bench. Is this the same person?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah. And the security guards are in their rights to be able to boot anyone because of the policy with you sitting that close.
Right. If they're just berating him all season,
they would take care of it if it was something.
It was just bizarre. It's just bizarre. Yeah. And whenever you don't say what it is, that
I think
says
it helps
to me,
your case to
right?
say
Because to
what
me it
is.
says you don't want us. If Westbrook says I got somebody kicked out for saying Westbrook, we're all going to call him soft.
Exactly.
If Westbrook says I kicked that person out because they said something else, that we do think is okay, that's above.
Yeah, get that fool out of here.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know instead of hiding behind. I'm not going to say what it is. Why?
I would say for what you just laid out, I would think that it's because maybe it wasn't something that is, racially driven or anything like that, but it just bothered him. Exactly. Yeah. And it could have been, who knows? He could have called him a deadbeat or something like that.
And they were losing. Yeah. I believe were they losing when it happened or were they winning?
Yeah. No, it was over. I think he went to shake Rick Carlisle's hand as in series is over.
Because they did blow that lead. I believe they were winning in that game at some point, and they blew the lead, and then Pacers fans are feeling good about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just bizarre for the whole. I've never heard this because Chris and I mean, we're sitting there, FCC Airwaves. We're going down the list of all the words and names that you could be called. I'm thinking, what could it be that he's never heard before?
That's crazy. I hope you guys weren't on a company computer.
No. Yeah, we were just workshopping it. All right, coming up next, we continue the conversation, and you don't want to miss this. If you have any questions on the draft lottery, Chris is breaking down the chances of your Sacramento Kings getting that number one pick. We break down the details of the NBA draft lottery. We start our Kings coverage coming up next. That leads us right in to Kings Roundtable with Frankie Cartoscelli and Brenden Nunes. Your Kings talk starts now. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery when you add an adjustable base. Ends Sunday. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hey, Joe Montana here. Back in my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia, a bacterial lung disease that can be life-threatening. If you're 65 or older or 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like diabetes or asthma, you're at increased risk. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccination and learn more at knowpneumonia.com. That's KNOW pneumonia.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer. On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's going on for Chrysler's It's the Season sales event?
Right now, you can save up to $8,000 off MSRP on those hard-to-find new 2024 Ram heavy-duty trucks, starting as low as $49,495. Plus, we have over 500 new Ram trucks available, which means the Ram truck you want is waiting for you at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center.
Yeah, but why drive all the way to Hoblet?
We do things different here at Hoblet. You're not just a number. When you buy from Hoblet, you become family. There's a reason we are California's #1 Ram truck dealer and #3 in the nation. We have the big city selection and savings, but the small town feel you can't find at an auto mall.
Now's the time to get the new Ram truck of your dreams. Stop by for a test drive or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
8,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 Lamborghinis after 7,500 dealer discount and 500 factor rebates. 5 of this net savings, 49,495 net price after 2,500 factor rebates. Rebates include 1,500 Ram commercial bonus cash. Not everyone will qualify. 5 of this net savings, sample VIN 197372.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
There we go. Draft day. Johnny Manziel. Both of those guys we were talking about. Both of the guys. One is still in the league.
At least, you know,
Hey,
right?
Wiggins. Who's got more value right now?
Will
Andrew
we
Wiggins
stay winning?
Or Aaron Wiggins? Is he a dog?
Man, Aaron Wiggins. Yeah, maybe Aaron Wiggins. You might have to attach a first rounder to get rid of Andrew if you're just trying to get rid of him.
Yeah,
I might give Aaron.
Aaron last night though, 9 points, 3-6, 1 of 3. Wasn't the junkyard dog like he was in game 1, and now that series is all tied up. But we look forward to this year's draft, and the lottery is on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Chris was explaining this to me as we were leaving after the show, and I got there.
Yeah.
I got there. It's a
little confusing.
It's a little confusing. It's a little bit backwards how it's done, but we're going to give you the key things to listen for during the draft. We're not going to get your hopes up too much. We're going to give you some numbers when things have happened, and here it is.
Yes. First off, I do want to get your thoughts on this real quick. Just something we were talking about earlier. I just saw it as I was scrolling my timeline during the break. Jason Timpf, who is someone I think we both respect, he's with the Volume. He said this about Jason Tatum's comments about the super team. I just want to know your instant reaction to hearing this as like what a super team should be defined by. He said, and this is just in a tweet, they aren't a super team because they don't have a top 5 player, but they are definitely the most talented roster in the NBA. If they played like the 2022 team, less reliant on shooting, more commitment to defense, I'd certainly say they'd win the title. So more so the first part of they aren't a super team because Jason Tatum's they don't have a top 5 player. Is that truly?
But I guess
because it's
hard,
team, right?
But it's hard for me to get past that and not just get stuck on Jason Tatum admitting that he's not a top 5 player. But I will do this for this exercise.
Yes.
But my question, I guess I'll answer the question with the question: who's more of a super team, the Suns or the Celtics?
Right. I would say the Celtics because again, that's to me.
But that's what I'm saying.
Is the difference of a big 3 versus a super team.
Right.
Right?
When you look at the Celtics, okay, specifically in the East, or we can do not just the East. When you look at the Celtics against every team, right? Look at the Celtics against every team. There will be some games, and here's I guess why this is a conversation. There will be, I also just don't want to hear that from Jason Tatum. There will be some games where they won't have the best player on the floor.
Yeah.
When they're going up against the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Giannis would be the best. Yeah. When they're going up against the Nuggets, Jokic would be the best. But after that, 2 through 7 is the Celtics.
Yes.
So to me, all super teams, this is a different, like we said yesterday, this is basically a really a well-balanced team on steroids, which is a different version of a super team that we haven't seen before.
Right.
But you're Jason Tatum. You're Jason Tatum, even if he's a top 10 player. You have Jason Tatum, and you have a dude who is the highest paid player in the league in Jaylen Brown. What are we talking about?
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I just thought it was I've never heard what anybody has put as the definition of a super team, and that's kind of the first time. And top 5 makes sense to me, but I think I just still think they're a super team.
I think just everything is relative.
Exactly.
When everybody was talking about, speaking of Andrew Wiggins, when he got traded for Kevin Love, a lot of people, LeBron gets taken off the hook because of the Warriors creating that super team.
Yeah.
Okay? Because Kyrie, Kevin Love at that time, and LeBron, that was a super team.
Yeah.
There's just levels to super teams. So then they were a super team. That's
or
why
maybe you can argue they were a
East.
big three at that point and then became a super team once they had J.R. Smith and Shumpert and all those other
But when
Tristan
that happened,
Thompson.
LeBron's plan, this is it, to be a super team. Then the Warriors said, I just think comparing it to the KD Warriors is something we'll never see.
Comparison.
Because let's even do the Heat.
Yeah.
Let's do the Heat. We could do the Celtics with Paul Pierce or the Heat. When LeBron came to the Heat, was D Wade a top 5 player?
Close. Yeah, he was close.
Close,
If not,
right?
yeah.
I mean, Jalen, I don't know what most people do with Jalen Brown, but you could have, two guys in your top 15.
Top 15, I think it's fair.
They're a
I think
super team.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just preparing.
Absolutely.
For them to fail again.
Absolutely.
Don't get me riled
He's
up.
almost getting in front. I know. I'm sorry.
Can we do the lot?
We'll do the lottery. We're doing the lottery.
It's getting me, Chris. Thank you, Simone.
I couldn't have done it better myself. Thank you.
You're really getting me going.
The
here.
NBA draft is going to be on June 26th and 27th. This year, they're doing the 2-day thing for the first time ever. But yes, the Kings, the lottery is on Sunday. What used to be almost like a second Christmas here in Sacramento, lottery day, the day where everyone would get their hopes up. Usually the Kings would be right in that like 6 to 8 range where you're not the favorite to move up. It's not unheard of to move up, but you also very, very likely might stay at and kind of miss out on all of the real fun of the top 5. So this year, the Kings are not in any of those kind of talks. They're at number 13, which is the second lowest lottery odd. They won a coin flip with the Golden State Warriors to get to 13. The Warriors are at 14, the 2 highest odds of the non-playoff teams. And they have a 0.8% chance at landing number 1. That would be a massive, massive leap, obviously, to number 1. It would be the biggest leap of all time. We'll get into those numbers in a second, but I want to establish the Kings' percentage of getting each pick first. So the Kings can either, and this is what I was explaining to Alan yesterday in the parking lot, the Kings have 6 potential options for their picks. They can either pick at 14. They're most likely, they have a 92% chance of picking at 13. They can pick at 1, which, as I said, is a 0.8% chance. They can pick at number 2, which is a 0.89% chance. They can pick at 3, which they have a 1% chance of. Or they can pick at number 4, which they have a 1.15% chance of. In total, they have a 3.84% chance of landing a top 4 pick. And it is either essentially top 4 pick or staying at 13. Like I said, they could move to 14, but that would only be if the Warriors jump from 14 up into the top 4.
But can you explain to the good people why 5 through 12 is not? Is it literally not possible?
It's literally not possible. So and that's because the lottery is actually only done with the first 4 picks. So the first 4 picks are randomized. They say, who's going to have the first pick? Pull the lever, get a ball. Who's doing the second pick? Pull the lever, get a ball. On to the 4th pick. After that, your pick is set in. So really the only things that can happen is you move into the top 4.
Got it. So if you're not in the top 4, you're in the normal position that you're in right now.
Exactly. Unless a team from behind you moved above, which is starts to get where things get confusing. So essentially how it's going to go on Sunday, the 14th pick goes to, it should be the Golden State Warriors. If it's not the Warriors, that tells you the Warriors have now moved into the top 4,
and
the Kings will get the 14th pick. I will riot. I'm not trying to be like our friend Matt George and get on any SF Gate article or anything, but I'm going to burn something down.
So there's no way you hear a different team than the Warriors. Is there a tiny possibility that the Warriors and Kings get into the top 4?
There is a very, 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 very tiny chance that the Kings and Warriors could move into top 4. So if at 14, they say with the 14th pick goes to the Houston Rockets, that means the Kings and the Warriors had both moved up.
They're both in.
But that is, I cannot stress how tiny of a percent chance that is of happening. But it is a possibility. So you're hoping the Kings, again, 92% chance of staying at number 13, 3% chance of them moving back to 14, but a 3.84% chance of moving into the top 4. And we will explain on the other side of the break just how lucky some teams have gotten throughout the years, and if the Kings actually have a shot at making history, as it would be getting the number 1 draft pick.
Let's not forget, there's been that lottery spot in Sacramento where a lot of people have won. Maybe the luck will be on your side on Sunday. Roundtable, we return. Frankie, Cartoscelli, Brenden, Nunes, they're ready to go. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Kettleman's.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
We all know what UV rays can do to our skin, but they can also do damage to your car. Keep that from happening with 303 Protectant. 303 Protectant keeps the sun's harmful rays from causing fading and cracking in rubber, plastic, or vinyl surfaces. From the dashboard to the tires, 303 Protectant keeps your car looking new longer. Get 303 Protectant today at Advance Auto Parts. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! And call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
At Elk Grove Honda, we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we'd buy from ourselves. And right now, you'll find interest rates as low as 1.99% APR on approved credit. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection. See our exceptional selection of Elk Grove Honda certified pre-owned Hondas with interest rates as low as 1.99% APR on approved credit. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Guys, are you still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Sacramento offers guaranteed low T and ED treatments. And this month only, qualified patients get a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. Availability is limited. Book your free exam and consultation today. Call 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
You know the vibes. You hear it. You can find me at the Roundtable. That's right. Simone, you're switching it up. These are some new ones.
I had to come with some new stuff.
There you go.
Lovely Friday.
As we get into the Kings Roundtable with Brenden, Nunes, and Frankie Cartoscelli on a beautiful Friday. Guys, finally not going to rain on a Saturday. It's outstanding stuff.
It's going to be a little warm.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready. I'm excited.
A little upset, too. My neighbor cut down this just huge, I don't know if it was a pine tree or what kind of tree it was, but a huge tree that provides our backyard and our house with so much shade this morning, just completely just chainsawing it down. It's gone. Completely, just my backyard is just getting cooked every day now going forward.
Get the sunscreen, old Frankie Cartoscelli.
No, that's when you call him Franklin. One of those comments. Yeah, that's an old man comment right there.
Hey, I'm right there with you.
It's a wonderful tree.
Yeah,
it is a wonderful tree.
It was my favorite tree. It kept the house cool.
Yeah.
You have to run the AC. That costs money.
It does. Sure. And when you talk about, Frankie and I, and we're bringing up the value of Natomas, it's just a lot of things going on at one time. And we hope that the value of the Kings draft pick goes up this Sunday. And Chris was giving some of the numbers, guys, and I think Chris has some more notes on just the history of some of the good fortune that teams have had, and some teams have been luckier than others, and hopefully the Kings enter that group this weekend. Chris?
Yeah, so some of the biggest leaps in lottery history. I don't know I think the lottery started, if I'm not mistaken, in the
85?
80s. Yeah, I was going to say, I know there's the big
85.
Frozen envelope fiasco with the New York Knicks getting Patrick Ewing and all that. But so really the biggest leap started in 1993. Pretty famously, the Orlando Magic jumped all the way up to number 1 and selected Chris Webber. As we know, Chris Webber never played for the Orlando Magic. He was traded for Anthony Penny Hardaway. And the rest is kind of history. Orlando had a 1.53% chance of moving up to number 1. And again, the Kings have a 0.8% chance of moving up to number 1. In 2008, the Chicago Bulls had a 1.7% chance to move up to number 1 and did so and selected Derrick Rose. In 2011, the Cleveland Cavaliers had a 2.8% shot at moving up to number 1. They selected Kyrie Irving at number 1. And then again in 2014, the Cavs had a 1.7% chance of moving all the way up to number 1. Did so and took Andrew Wiggins with the number 1 pick. And Alan, we were just talking about that. Traded Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love and eventually built LeBron's little super team, I guess is what we'll call it.
Some crazy luck by Cleveland there.
Yeah, it was really annoying. And the not included in there is when they got Anthony Bennett, I believe in 2013.
Right, but they had a better chance of, and then they wasted that.
And so again, the Kings have 0.8% chance at moving up to 1. The lowest of all time is Orlando in 93 at 1.53.
I feel like the Anthony Bennett pick doesn't get talked about enough. I mean,
it was just a bad
draft. Where is he?
Do you remember a couple years ago when he was cooking in the G League and people thought, could he?
No. I just don't remember.
I don't have many Anthony Bennett memories.
Where in the world?
He's 31 years old.
Yeah. I don't know what they saw there at all.
He's got a training camp invite to the Houston Rockets this fall.
Wait,
3
what?
days ago. 3 days ago.
I told you.
Unless Yahoo Lifestyle Canada is wrong.
He was playing in Taiwan.
Which, that's a trusted source, guys.
He was playing in Taiwan, and do you want to know who, if this is right, I think, do you want to know who his teammate was?
Boogie?
We're talking about draft covers.
Where's that?
Who was a top 2 pick from years ago that was a total bust?
Marvin Bagley.
Okay, I can't. I'm leaving the show.
Set yourself up for that one.
I'm leaving this show. Hashim Thabit was playing with Anthony Bennett in Taiwan last year.
It's just a land of misfit draft picks out there. It probably would be
Coached
fun
by
to just
Michael over the candy.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking, and I think the danger here is we slip right into a bust conversation when you start talking about Anthony Bennett, because Markelle Fultz is at least still on a roster, but Sixers had an opportunity. That was the height of the process. And we just added this kid. Now we have the guard to go on with Ben Simmons, who is the kind of the do-it-all piece. So maybe it just doesn't get talked about because there's just a lot of misses in general.
I think that the Kings were also in that conversation for obviously Marvin Bagley, but I think even until like this year, talking about lottery picks or top picks, I think Davion Mitchell was a player that I think I talked about with you guys on the show. We talked about it maybe privately, that he was on the verge of being in that, man, I'm really worried about that pick. Are we really, like, I don't want to say bust territory, but just disappointment. And I feel like the Kings now are in a point where they have two players that I think that Davion Mitchell, he has reestablished his value. I think that he definitely isn't looked at as a bust now as a top 10 pick. I think he has potential. Keegan Murray, obviously not a bust, someone who I think has a lot more potential, but I do feel like that's probably still the biggest black eye for the Kings is probably Marvin Bagley.
Yes. You're talking about a number 9.
We don't talk enough about Yorgos Papagiannis.
He wasn't even on the top 100
13th pick, by the way.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was in Las Vegas for the draft, and when he got drafted, I swear I was in one of those whatever in the
sports books or
whatever.
Yeah,
and people and were like, huh, "What?" Everyone, a collection of people were like, "Who is that?" And I looked it up.
Somebody must have
never
made a lot
good.
of money.
That's
that day.
never good.
Somebody who had like the over on his draft selection.
He wasn't even on the top 100 on all these like mock drafts, top lists, top prospects, nothing. But I think he actually is playing pretty well overseas again, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I think that he was playing against Sasha for a little while.
We'll see him during the summer. He's like a really good player for Greece.
Yeah, I think that he played against Sasha in the EuroLeague finals before, or the Greek League finals before he ended up coming over to Sac. That was the game that got like canceled because they were throwing stuff on the court and everything.
Because of him.
Because
they were
destroyed
getting
by, like,
beat
30
by
in the
Sasha's
third
team.
quarter.
Yeah, they were getting smacked. They were not having fun.
Guys, have you, just for the good people that are listening and are always looking for your content on SactownSports.com and on your social media, have you started the dive into the draft, the draft hopefuls and the prospects? Or are you waiting for the lottery to start to really deep dive there?
I'm starting to, I think that my realization is there's a lot of guards and centers, it feels like, which is not the most helpful thing. But at the same time, from Sacramento's point, I think that, we were talking about how can you upgrade Kevin Huerter? Like a 2 is not the worst thing when it comes to needs on this roster, even if like length and athleticism, size should really probably be towards the top of the list. You probably got to pick, really when it comes down to it, best player available, I think. And I feel like that's what we've seen them do so far. The Davion Mitchell pick was very confusing because they still had Tyrese Halliburton on the roster, just picked him the year before. And it was like, okay, where is this guy even going to get minutes? I think they played like 60 something minutes together as a trio. But they clearly picked best player available. And I will say, I can't help but look at some of the names of guys that like played a long time already. Like these are players that I feel like the Kings tend to lean towards, guys that were really productive in college. So there's some names where I look at it and I'm like, it just doesn't feel like a Kings guy, but maybe you're like forced to change up sort of what you typically go after.
Yeah, we're going to start ramping up, I think, next week when we know what the pick's going to be and maybe putting on a draft profile per day. But it is hard because I feel like with Monty and this front office, they do go with those guys that have more quote unquote experience, maybe not at the NBA level, obviously the professional level, but at the college level, because the past couple of draft picks that they have had, Davion, Tyrese, even at the time, I think he was 20, Keegan, these are guys that played multiple years of college basketball. They were people that could come in and slot into a young core. I feel like some of these guys that are 18, 19, someone who just turned 18s on this draft board here, like I think that they might go with someone that's more like, I know there's like those, the COVID year that was big for a lot of college players. So we see guys that are 23, 24 coming into the league now. Maybe they go somewhere with that and they pick a player we didn't really see on the radar. But I mean, I do feel like from a lot of outside voices, like I think Bobby Marks said it, a couple other analysts have said that the Kings can find value at 13. I mean, a lot of teams have found value at much further in the draft. And even though it's a weak draft, no one really knows until a couple of years down the line. I mean, they're evaluating it as a weak draft, but we really truly will not know. This draft could be incredible for all we know. They could have multiple all-stars, but I think the Kings for sure should use this pick to their advantage, whether it means they actually use it and select a player, or if on draft night they have something cooked up and they move the pick. But it's something I'm getting more open to the idea of getting excited to see what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lottery on top of another lottery when it comes to the picks, because it's always a mixed bag. There have been drafts that were supposed to be strong and not as strong as you think, and vice versa. Drafts that haven't been supposed to be strong, and maybe there's just one random gem in there, and the Kings can get that gem. In Monty, we trust. When we return, a Western Conference team has essentially come out. There are reports that they have come out and said that one of their young pieces is untouchable. What this means for the Kings and the rest of the trade market. Stiles Watkins with Brenden and Frankie. Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Kevin Lewis with National Garage Door, reminding you that in Sacramento, National Garage Door is the king of garage doors. We service, sell, and install garage doors and openers. Call us today for your basketball special. A new 16x7 Rainer garage door with installation and a belt drive opener for only $24.49 installed. Give us a call today, 916-638-4554.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Since you probably can't afford your own sports psychologist, Golf Monthly's Fergus Bissett offers 5 golf psychology tips to help you play better. First, stay in the present. If your mind is ahead of you, how can you focus on the shot at hand? Second, every shot is a new challenge. The objective of every shot is to get the ball in the hole in the least amount of strokes. Go do it. 3, the past is the past. Many of us dwell on the past. Not good. Clear your mind and move on to the next shot. 4, never surrender. Some give up on their rounds too quickly. Your fortunes on the course can change with one swing or one decent break. Lastly, stay positive on the greens. If you're having one of those days where the putts don't drop, focus on the positives. If you're putting on your intended line, that's a good thing. Keep it up and they'll begin to fall. And remember, it's a game, so go out there and have some fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500.
I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We are back with the Sactown Sports Kings insiders, Frankie, Cartoscelli, and Brenden Nunes. Guys, this just came out. Ramona Shelburne was on the Warriors flagship as we discuss young pieces. And somebody, was it yesterday, Chris? Somebody on the text line said that we as
overvaluing Keegan.
Yes, we overvalue Keegan Murray, and Chris had a really good response. Basically, every fan base and every front office overvalues their young pieces. Speaking of that, now Ramona Shelburne comes out and says Jonathan Kuminga is considered untouchable by the Warriors. Quote, they'll do everything they can to keep him. They don't even want to talk about him. And all I can say is I think that's in a Western Conference that's continuing to get stronger. No disrespect to Jonathan Kuminga, because Chris and I have gone back and forth about his ceiling. I think that's great news. I think that's great news if you are not a fan of the Warriors, because they're a bit strapped. And Andrew Wiggins, let's not forget, he went MIA again this season, not just on the court, but off the court as well. If they're truly, and now look, this is just a report from Ramona Shelburne, but I trust her sources. If they're truly not trying to move Jonathan Kuminga, they cannot make a substantial move.
I mean, that's like their biggest chip, which is kind of where I'm at with Keegan as well. I mean, I think the main reason why a lot of people, and myself included, I'm sure you guys will feel the same way, why the Kings shouldn't move Keegan is because he is their greatest chip. And I think if they were going to actually move him, it would take a lot. I think with the Warriors, I think, like you just said, they can't really afford to move him because of he's inexpensive, under control. I think he's going to be a restricted free agent next summer.
Extension eligible this offseason, I think.
Yes.
Why would they move him?
And had a career year this year.
Yeah.
They have to figure out the Klay Thompson situation. Is he going to come back? You have to pay him. It sounds like he's not going to take a hometown discount. If he does, it'll still be enough to push him into that third tier of luxury tax. So I think that when you value young guys, I think it just depends on where you are. The Kings are in a different place than the Warriors. The Warriors are kind of on the decline right now after being at the top. The Kings are what we hope is on the climb up. Keegan needs to be a big part of that. And if he's not, it's because they moved him for a very, very big piece. So I think that I take it as the Warriors are saying they're not going to move Kuminga unless it's for that big right piece. How do they afford it? I have no idea. But the Kings, it's like they can afford it. They can bring on someone if they wanted to. But why would you when Keegan's showing this much potential and he's so young and, again, under team control, restricted free agent in 2 more years? That just would, to me, be a bad decision.
Yeah, I have 2 initial thoughts. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is that he's extension eligible right now, or whenever the technical deadline comes up, but this offseason. And it wouldn't surprise me if this is also just, from his side from the Warriors side, trying to get messaging out there of, hey, we really like Kuminga. There's a game to be played. And I feel like this is the time that it happens. And specifically, even just negotiations with him internally, there's been questions about how do they feel about him and his future. It wouldn't surprise me. I feel like there's a world where this is, the team wanting to reassure him a little bit. But the other side is if this really is how they're feeling, it goes back to the 2 timeline thing. And it feels like, okay, are you going to try to keep that up? Because it didn't work before, but maybe you could argue, well, if you would have picked the right players, that it could have worked out. But it's like, if you're still going to go on a last run with Steph, it kind of feels like you need to dangle that piece to go get another star.
Yeah, that's a great point. Brenden, on, hey, they're just playing the game a little bit. And bringing it back to the draft, I do think there's something to be said about trying to find somebody that fits what you want versus just the best player available, or should I say not best player available if you're Kuminga, but highest ceiling available. Because that was the whole thing with the Warriors. They took a big swing on this guy because of his ceiling. And I think if you look at ceilings and what he could be, I feel like more people would say Kuminga has a higher ceiling than Keegan, but we all, just based on athleticism and things like that. The problem is you don't know what the heck he's going to be. So even if Kuminga was available to when me and Chris go back and forth, this season, all of a sudden he's a scorer, right? And he's getting to the paint, but he's a scorer that can't really shoot. And he's a defender, but he's more of a defender on wings. He can't really defend guard still. So even if you're trading for him, if a team is trading for him, and we talked about this with the Hawks and Jalen Johnson, is somebody saying, we'll give you this big piece because Kuminga is going to be the main piece to our franchise? He hasn't done enough for that. No. So I don't know why a team would give up something big unless you just really, at what point, right now, what we know, even if you say Kuminga has a higher ceiling on paper than Keegan, you know, a team knows what you're trading for with Keegan. You see the path. I don't know what the path is with Kuminga, and I've defended Kuminga, but if I'm a random GM, what are you looking for him to do?
I think that could be person to person. Like, it feels like different people's cup of tea, right? Where like Kuminga has more of a wide range of outcomes. Maybe it's a higher ceiling, but I feel like it's definitely a lower floor. Well, it's because I called him JK.
Yeah, you're such a Warriors guy.
He tried to catch himself too.
That's what he gets called.
I
could tell I was getting eyes after that.
Thanks for reminding us that this side of a table is from the Bay.
Stop it.
We're not.
Dub Nation and JK.
They got to get 30 some help, guys.
That's the final level. When you start calling Steph 30, that's the final level of Warriors.
You could have just let it go, Chris. It's a Friday.
I did. I didn't say anything.
I could feel it.
I just thought it was crazy.
As soon as you said it, Chris and I made eye contact.
I corrected myself quick too. I knew I did it. Yeah, whatever.
It's actually a fact.
That's like hearing someone on like Bay Area radio calling Keegan Keegs.
Yeah, or like Leak. Yeah, Leak would be crazy.
King of Kings. Yeah.
JK's not as good as Keegan, but I think he
close.
has a higher ceiling and a lower floor. And I think that could be more appealing to some teams. Like, obviously, Keegan is somebody that Sacramento loves, but say that they never had either player, I think that Monty's front office would probably prefer Keegan, but I don't think that's every front office around the league, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah, because Kuminga is the kind of guy where, I guess maybe even to Alan's point, like, you bring in Kuminga Atlanta's almost a perfect situation where you're not really playing for anything. It's just
early.
We have a lot of opportunity, and like you said, he's so raw. He's good at things, but it's like you just need to like mold him like Clay, and not like Klay Thompson, like Clay the material.
Good pun, more Warriors references.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, we're killing it over here. I just think that Kuminga, like a Brooklyn situation or something, would make sense for him. But to your point, like, what is, if the Warriors are going to try and do this KD thing, I don't really know what Kuminga would do for Phoenix in the immediate.
Well, what does their draft situation look like as far as capital? Do they have picks, or do they spend picks to bring on the guys they brought in the past?
They should have them all. I don't believe they had to trade off any picks for anybody that I could think of, because CP, they didn't give up any picks or anything like that, or Wiggins. I don't think they're still paying.
Trying here.
I think Brennan's trying to find it, but I wouldn't I can't remember what the return was.
I know they have
Paul.
14.
What was the return? It was Jordan Poole.
They sent off Jordan Poole, and I think they might have even gotten a first back.
They should have. They definitely should have for that deal. Which, by the way, I was surprised to know that Chris Paul still has on his contract.
Does he really? I actually didn't know that.
I believe so. I thought he was a free agent. I don't think so.
Yeah, that didn't work out too well for him. It did for the first, month of the season.
No, it really didn't.
Yeah.
But no, as far as draft capital goes, that's what the Kings are kind of looking at too. Like, how much do these teams have to actually use? The Kings, it sounds like Monty seemed confident that they have picks to use if they want to, which I think they have this year on draft night, and then 27 and 28, I think, maybe even 29. So I wonder if the Warriors are in the same boat where they have picks, but it's not really in the near future. It's down the line.
They don't have this year's first, which actually I hadn't realized. That's owed to Portland.
Oh, interesting. For what?
It's protected top four, technically. I believe that it was GP2 when they traded back for him halfway through that season.
That's
because he had
that's a heavy price.
Because he had like 3-4 years on his deal, right? So it was probably to get him for a little while.
Oh, that's a
After
hefty
they let him
price to
walk.
admit defeat. Yeah.
But they don't have anybody else's first or any of their others outgoing. Handful of seconds both ways, but yeah, some flexibility. It's not the worst.
Yeah, I love I think the comparison of Kuminga to Keegan is really interesting. And if they're shutting it down for Kuminga, I think you have to shut it down for Keegan, but you do need to see, or you do really hope to see that huge third-year leap that we talk about with so many other players. When we return, one of Brendan's top picks for a trade target balls out last night. Does it change your mind on the price tag before the trade market was closed this past season? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
My father was a career United States Air Force pilot, and Memorial Day is a reminder of all he and so many others did for our country. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Right now at the annual Memorial Day sale, everything in the store is on sale. Everything. You'll save 10 to 25% on all living rooms, to sofas, to sectionals, to dining rooms, to bedrooms, to home offices, and so much more. Everything is on sale right now at Naturewood Home Furnishings Memorial Day sale. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, it's all available for you at savings from 10 to 25% at Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishing, off Highway 50 in Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Do you hear that? That's your air conditioner working overtime this summer. But it's not just the temperature that's rising, so is your electric bill. Stop paying sky-high rates for your electricity with a solar electric system from Aztec Solar. Finally, you can calculate your monthly savings when you go solar without sitting through a 2-hour in-home sales pitch. Visit yourpowersavings.com and Aztec Solar will text you how much you'll save each month by going solar. Since 1980, Aztec Solar has helped thousands of homeowners with solar pool heating, solar electricity, and backup energy storage. Going solar is like getting an extra paycheck every month. How much will your paycheck be? Find out at yourpowersavings.com. Yourpowersavings.com. Looking for a deal today? Now you can own a solar electric system for just $99.95 cash offer after incentives. Act now. This offer expires soon. Aztec Solar. Solar and only solar since 1980.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram and Woodland. Chad, what's happening for Chryslers? It's the season sales event.
We're sad to say goodbye to the last of the new gas-powered 2023 Dodge Challenger and Chargers, but we're sending them out in style.
Right now, you can save up to $12,500 off MSRP on the very last of the new 2023 Dodge Chargers and Challengers in stock. GT or SXT, you pick, starting at just $24,350.
It's hard to believe this is really the end.
Yep, once they're gone forever. Don't wait and miss your chance because there's only a few left, and with savings like this, they won't last long.
Hurry in before they're gone or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HoblettDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
12,500 total net savings after 8,500 factory rebates and 4,000 dealer discount. 10th of this net savings, 24,350 net price on new 2023 Dodge Challenger SXT after 8,530 factory rebates and 5,470 dealer discounts. Sample VIN 648401. See dealer for details.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Cattleman's.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
With the Kings insiders for Sactown Sports, Frankie Cartoscelli and Brenden Nunes, Simone with the M&M version of...
You get these every time. It takes me a sec.
Yeah, don't worry. If we were doing Friday Fun and Games, I'd freeze.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've learned that I understand why the baby race happened the way it did. Because I freeze.
Unpacking trauma.
I mean, Friday Fun and Games, I put up some stinkers.
It's tough sometimes.
Some stinkers, you know.
There's a tough one that you haven't done yet either. It's called Meet the Post or Hit the Post. I'm telling you don't want it.
Well, we won't do it because you won't let us do it.
It is a nightmare.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it's not fun.
But what Brenden did want the Kings to do is trade for one PJ Washington, but at what cost? And as we continue to go back and forth with everybody during the Kings' early exit in the play-in, not making the playoffs, and then you see PJ Washington 20-plus points last night. Brenden, does it make you rethink the idea? And Chris and I, we've defended Monty McNair and the Kings for some of the moves, a la Royce O'Neal and things like that. But when you look at what the Mavs have done, and it's so funny, they're down 1-0. We sit there and we say, look, the Mavs sold their future for this. But if the Mavs, what if they make the conference finals again? What if they mess around and get to the finals? I think we look at this differently. Obviously, it's too early to tell. We'll see what happens as the series moves to Dallas. But you see what they're doing in Dallas. Does it make you rethink the price tag on PJ Washington and Gafford and whether or not you would have been willing to make the moves? Because it is a different team, the Kings. Do we think PJ Washington would have helped the Kings as much as he's helping the Mavericks?
Yeah, I think I definitely catch myself watching those games and being like, this is a great example of how much improved depth matters, where these guys have really changed their season.
Right.
But like you said, I think the Kings are just in a different spot when it comes down to it. It was very obvious what Dallas needed. They have their stars, multiple. They needed those improved depth pieces. Now, sure, they could have decided, we want to, rather spend multiple on one guy and get a third or whatever. So they had some optionality on the way you want to go. But for the Kings, it's do you feel like you need to go get another big star? Because Dallas did sacrifice some of their future flexibility in order to do this, and that could work out. But I think that they are more so in a spot where that's understandable, where the Kings, if, you didn't have the 2025 available to you, or up to 2027, it's are you willing to trade a 2029 pick, for this guy? And what are those protections going to look like? Isn't one of the Dallas picks, I think, is very unprotected in the future. And it's after Luka is his deal will have expired, so there is a lot of risk here. And I still think it could end up looking pretty bad in hindsight, but I think there's just a big difference in what these teams need at their current stage. And from Sacramento's aspect, while I do think PJ would have helped and I could have got behind that move for sure, I don't mind, keeping your cupboard full to wait and see what comes out down the line. But they're definitely a good example of why depth matters.
And like the urgency was higher for Dallas too, I think, is because Kyrie Irving, I think, is 30, 31. Luka, like you said, he has a new deal in line. He's in line for a new deal at some point in the near future. They need to figure out if he's going to be there long term. He needs to figure that out for himself as well. The Kings are in a spot where Sabonis under contract 4 more years. Fox has 2 more years. And I mean, we've long heard that he wants to be a King for life, and we'll see if that comes to fruition. But that's a conversation for another day, obviously. But I think that, like you said, different stages of where they're at in their development and where they are as far as contention in the West. Dallas has been here before. They've been, I think, to the conference finals, I think, once or twice in the past 4 or 5 years. They played the Clippers.
Yeah,
in the
at least the one. Yeah.
They played the Suns, I think, in the conference finals that one year. I might have to mix.
They beat the Suns to get to conference finals.
They beat the Suns. That was where Booker was staring at the whole Booker and Luka thing. But I think that I have looked back at the Gafford deal, the Washington deal, those players that were linked to the Kings that the Kings really could have used, that could have helped them. And like you said, I think that if you're going to leverage your future and have those assets just kind of taken away, and we'd be looking at a different picture here going in the offseason, saying, okay, well, the Kings are a little hamstrung. They have Gafford under contract. They got Washington. Like in this universe, let's say they got Gafford and Washington. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what kind of moves the Kings could actually make to upgrade their roster outside of using that 13th pick. They wouldn't have any cap space. Malik, if he leaves, even now they don't have any cap space. So I think that those moves made a lot of people frustrated at the time, but I think now it's working for Dallas, sure, but we don't know if it'll work for the Kings the same exact way.
Yeah, I'm looking here just to remind everyone, this is specifically for PJ Washington, and we can transform this into what it would be for the Kings. The Mavericks have swung a deal for PJ Washington, sending the Charlotte Hornets a package centered around Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a top 2 protected first-round pick in 2027. At the time, Washington had started 17 games. He was coming off the bench a lot for the Hornets. Washington, who had started 17 games, is averaging 13.6 points and 5.3 rebounds per game in 44 contests this season. The 6'7" forward has shot 35.9% from 3 in his career, but is shooting a career low 32.4% this season. I specifically remember, Brenden, you sitting in this seat and you calling PJ Washington basically a high ceiling project. That is the price tag for a high ceiling project that can do some things. And yeah, he looked good last game, but that's the price tag.
And I mean, specifically in that deal, honestly, I think it'd be dumb if there's no way the Kings could have beat that deal, I think, without it being pretty dumb, or just sacrificing
reckless.
Too much. What if we want to say Grant Williams is like Sasha Vezenkov and Seth Curry's Chris Duarte, and then keep the same pick if you want
to say more.
Those guys are better?
Yeah, I would think Seth Curry has more value than Duarte.
I could see that. Yeah, if you want to mess around with what guys those may be, right? But somewhere in that sort of tier, right? Yeah, because it's really the pick more than anything. Charlotte does not care about Grant Williams. Well, I don't want to speak for Charlotte. Charlotte might care about Grant Williams. They're not in a spot where the player they get back is what matters, is what I really mean here. And the Kings couldn't have done 2027, I think, if I have this right off the top of my head. But say we wanted to do 2028 for this exercise. Mm-hmm. Would you trade a top 2028, top 2 protected pick for PJ Washington? I think that's kind of crazy.
It's insane. Especially if that pick ends up being a top 10 pick for whatever reason. Who knows? De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis can be on the team, but both get injured that year, and the Kings have a top 10 pick. You really just gave up a top 10 pick for PJ Washington.
We were looking right now. The Warriors don't have their pick this year because they traded a first to dump Andre Iguodala years ago.
2019.
And now it's a lottery pick.
And now it's the number 14 pick in the draft just to get off of Andre Iguodala in 2019.
Was that the Miami trade?
No, Memphis. It sent him to Memphis.
The Memphis trade.
I forget who they
set
needed
off
to clear
everything
cap
else.
space
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm on your block.
And then he went to Miami from Memphis. That's right.
It's just dangerous. I mean, it's just a dangerous game. And 2, I think what pretty much Frankie was saying, it's like you would sit here today. If the Kings did make those moves, you sit here today and there's no such thing as a big fish list because we can't. Those were the moves. The next move would be who's an impact role player who can set this thing over the top. And maybe we're talking about trying to find the next Malik Monk. And that's the hope, because I just don't know where that was the whole thing, is it just removes all your flexibility. And as we are constantly reminded by Monty McNair, the number one thing he values as a GM is flexibility at all times. And if you were to go all in for 2 role players, a high level project, that's just not good value management. And so, yeah, you could have sold everything to be good this year, but at what cost to your future?
Now, let's do Gafford, okay? And the Mavericks, kind of same idea. In return for Gafford, Washington received Richaun Holmes and a 2024 first-round pick from the Mavericks. So that's a little less.
It's the 13th pick this year, and
less players, but just as
Richaun Holmes is JaVale.
Alex,
whatever.
Yeah.
You're again trading your first-round pick this year for your backup center.
I mean,
can't do it.
I just don't think they're in. I think
It's
they
just
have
a question
other
of
things
if you
they
think
need to
you
do
can better
first. I just think there's an order of operations here. And I think that you still need another star. And so I think you need to hold on to those. Yeah. Someone that's at least flirting with the level of De'Aaron and Domas.
Sure.
I kind of think this needs to be a three-headed snake.
Sure.
Really. If you don't have one guy that's like the clear, best player on a championship team, get three that are all close.
And that's outside of Keegan. Like you're saying to go along with that as well. Like the Mikal Bridges, those names we've thrown out before, like the big fish, the trade.
Yeah. Or I guess another like Keegan caliber. That's not far off, I guess, potentially what he turns out to be. But I think you need to keep those available to you. In the meantime, look for little spots to be advantageous, whether the Chris Duarte move is really good in theory.
Yes, in theory.
They spent nothing to go get this guy and it just didn't work out. But I think you try little things like that to improve your depth, or what are you going to do with the MLE this year or the biannual? And I think you just try to make little improvements that way. You wait with these firsts in my mind, unless one of those advantageous things pops up where you're like, typically this would cost 3 and it's only 1.
On top of the fact that, and we have people on the text line saying scared money don't make no money because of the lack of moves. It's a wide open West right now. But I would counter that to the 916 to say there is only going to be one winner. And a lot of these teams are already showing cracks in the armor. And this summer, a lot of teams are going to blow up, right? So do you want to be the Mavs who maybe the Mavs win the whole thing, but let's say they don't, now they're stuck, and you're going to see their fan base is going to see all of these stars or close to start, the Brandon Ingrams of the world, all these guys being available, and you can't do anything because you got PJ Washington and Gafford and you sold your soul for a second round stint. Or you could be the Kings, and it was tough not getting into the playoffs and losing to the Pelicans for the 18th time. But now you have some opportunities moving forward. All right, when we return, we ask the guys which free agents intrigued them. And if one person texts in and says Sacramento can't get free agents, Frankie Cartoscelli is going to lose it. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sactown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for 3, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
Hi, it's Brian from Bennett's Restaurants. Mother's Day is a special day we all enjoy, and we'd love to see you and your mom over the Mother's Day holiday weekend. Come and enjoy prime seafoods and steak. This year, we are featuring a Caribbean spiny lobster tail. They are large and succulent. We serve them with drawn butter, fresh asparagus with hollandaise at our Bennett's Restaurants in Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. We offer big variety on the menu as well, so you're sure to find the food you crave. Visit Bennett'sRestaurants.com for reservations. That's Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Eat well and stay well.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Chris's big fish list, guys. You should have saw some of some of the notes on not that the Kings need guards, but people were not happy with the guard list at all.
I saw that, and to that I say, hey, are you watching the video? Like, are you listening to what that you guys are saying, or are they just seeing the names and just reacting? Because you guys are clearly saying these are just the players who are available. Not the Sacramento Kings need to go sign Gary Trent Jr. It's like, no, that's just who's available and who they could sign if Malik does, unfortunately, and hopefully not leave.
Yeah.
Look, Frankie, but the Kings don't get free agents. That's what you don't understand is they don't. Why are we wasting time doing this when they don't sign anybody? Nobody has ever came to Sacramento and had a good time ever. Period.
There are no flights. Flights only go out of Sacramento. They
that's
do not
true.
come
Never.
to
That's
Sacramento.
just a fact.
Let's go, Sacramento.
Exactly.
Who is that?
It's
like
I think it's Spears, isn't it? I think it's Spears.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, I was like, who could that possibly
There you go. Some of the names, guys. So a name that popped up, we did the bigs yesterday, and now there's a report that the Pelicans will not be re-signing Jonas Valanciunas. His name, along with others.
What do you guys think his value is?
Probably like full MLE.
Yeah,
12.9.
I don't think he'll get more than that.
Getting paid $15 million this year, which
I don't think someone will get
like
more.
The limit.
I'd be surprised if it was more than 15. I think he'll for sure probably take a slight decrease. I'd say 12 to 14 million.
Do you think like in today's NBA, he's still starting? Like he was obviously a more than quality starting center, but like with how the NBA is played today, it feels like these really big. I don't want to call him plotting, but he kind of is, especially for how centers look today. A plotting big man. Like our team's going to be excited and really, like Nikola Vucevic a couple years ago got,
All-star.
a huge trade package for him. I just don't think the value of a center like that is anywhere near that anymore.
Personally, I feel like the value won't be that high. I think that are there teams you could start on? Sure, but they're probably not teams that should be in playoff contention. That's not like a slight against Valanciunas. I think he's someone who could still slot in and fill in a pinch, but I think he's more of a guy that would be better in a reserve role at this point. I think he's 32, 33 now.
Yeah.
I think that I'd be very surprised to see a team shell out 15 to 20 million for a big like that.
Do you think a situation like Sacramento would entice him? Obvious, besides the Sabonis connection of Lithuania and all that, like, do you think the role that the Kings could offer him would be one that's enticing enough to him?
Like we're talking backup center.
Yeah, backup center.
Not these guys playing together.
He can maybe get, I think he can maybe get 20 to 25 minutes. It allows, Domas gets no rest right now. Yeah. And I think partially it's obviously because you want him to be on the floor as much as possible. But I do think a big part of it is we can't really run Alex Len or JaVale for 25 minutes.
I mean, I do think he'd be a great backup big. I think for me, it's more opportunity cost. Yes. Like I think it would probably take close to your full MLE, if not the whole thing. And I would just rather go, spend cheap on another backup big, needs. Bring back Alex, like maybe when I look at centers, I'm like, all right, let's go cheap here. Unless it was like a Naz Reid, who I know they liked last year, where it's like, okay, this guy can play the 4 next to Domas and play the backup 5.
That's what
or Bobby Portis, your guy.
He is my guy. And, there's starting to be some smoke there.
What smoke? Are you creating it?
No, I heard there's
coming
smoke.
out his ears. Yeah.
There is some smoke. Beamer, Beams, or Beamley is saying that, nah, bro, start him and Domas goes to the 4. Can you do that with Valanciunas?
I don't think you can do that with Sabonis.
He can't shoot the 3 yet. He hasn't proven he can knock down that mid-range consistently. And until he can knock down that mid-range,
you're talking about Sabonis.
Yeah, if he can't do that, you can't play the 4. You can't have 2 paint dominant bigs. That's why we see. That's one of the main reasons why I think that New Orleans, which I read, I think Michael Scotto from Hoop Site put out today, that's they're letting him go. Like it's probably
they want spacing.
They want spacing, and the Kings would have very little spacing because Sabonis operates in and around the paint a lot. I think that last year, again, this is going a year back, but Brook Lopez to me would have been just like a really ideal fit for a big next to Sabonis because protects the rim, knocks down threes, and specifically the corner threes, like automatic from corner threes, which we saw at that game in Milwaukee. But I'm interested to see kind of how you guys, if you feel the same way. I think that as far as draft compensation and assets go, I think that I'm more looking at the salary cap and the money. And if the Kings are really going to be aggressive, they haven't gone over that luxury tax in 20 years. I feel like this might be the time to do that. Like put your money where your mouth is. You fill out that arena every night. The revenue I feel like is going to keep coming in. Put your money where your mouth is, and it might cost a little more.
Just raise price on the tickets.
I think you have to go over the luxury tax at some point if you really want to push this group to its fullest potential. I feel like making the money work and keep staying under that line is very hard. And we see a lot of teams that are in contention go past that line, that first threshold. And I think the Kings right now, they're not a playoff team right now. They were very close. because it's a risk. But at least if it happens, you still have your draft picks. You have that future draft capital. Because if you're not going to go and trade those picks for a Ingram or Levine, which I'm personally not on board with, but the guys that are going to become available, Mikal Bridges, which will take every probably draft pick the Kings have for the next 4 or 5 years, it's expensive money, which will be uncomfortable at the time. But I mean, something that my uncle always says with the teams that we watch, it's like, it's not my money. So, I think that's kind of just how I feel about it. I'm not sure if you guys feel the same way, but I think the best way to upgrade this roster is going to be by spending money, whether it's in free agency or shedding salary through trades and adding more in free agency. But I feel better about that than shedding draft picks.
Are you, Frankie, talking about the one, the only, the Sacramento tax?
What is the Sacramento tax? Like the income tax? For free
Apparently,
agents?
There's a Sacramento tax.
God. Kings got to pay more, right?
Yes, essentially.
That's probably a thing, but I mean, I don't think it's always true. I mean,
no, I mean, I think like the Pascal thing, if it did play out kind of how it gets talked about, that he didn't want to go here, that's probably like the extent of what like a Sacramento tax looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, sure, if a guy doesn't want to come here and you got to like sell him on it a little bit, like I guess that's probably part of the process. But, you know, I would like to think that it doesn't exist too much.
That's probably part of it.
You still have to outbid everybody else.
Yes.
With Pascal, I feel like that also was a part of play style. Like Tyrese is someone who is a distributor. He gets his points, but more so like from knocking down threes, or he doesn't create off the dribble, which he was getting dragged for after game one, dragged for not creating his own offense. That's not really what he usually does. Maybe Pascal was more so deterred by the fact that De'Aaron is a ball dominant guard that scores, he does it on his own. So maybe it was part of a Sacramento tax. Maybe it was a part of just not wanting to play with this kind of situation, but I think that the Kings can bring in talent. It's not just, this isn't the 2015, 2016 Sacramento Kings here. They have Mike Brown. They have a bunch of guys on this team that I think would speak highly of the culture and the foundation that's been laid before. Even if guys that depart that were a part of that original Beam team, if Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, whoever depart, Malik Monk, hopefully not again. I think there are enough guys in the locker room and within the organization, coaching staff, front office that can speak well and make a good pitch for a free agent. Maybe not a superstar like Paul George or Zach LaVine, but there should be guys out there that might be in that MLE range or a little above it that they can bring in to be a part of this team and a part of this roster.
Brenden, is there any way I can get you on record with your Simone Fontecchio take?
Sure. Yes. I think Fontecchio is really, really good. I would imagine that since Detroit traded for him, that they probably want to hold on to him, and it's restricted free agency. So I think from a Kings standpoint, you'd have to really love the guy because it would lock your money up. Teams always wait the extended amount that they can until they either are going to match you in free agency or decide to let you move on, and other guys could go in the meantime, obviously. But I think this guy can play really, really good defense. Mm-hmm. I think he's a good, smart three-point shooter. I think he moves the ball pretty well, too, actually. Like, I think he's a smart player.
Say it.
I think he might, if the Kings got him, I think he could start over Harrison Barnes. Wow. And I don't know that, why? Weren't we talking about Trey Lyles earlier this year?
Yeah,
and I disagreed with that for what it's worth.
No,
but
I think most people, I think it's just most
I don't think
people
Simone Fontecchio is on a lot of people's radar.
Yeah, no, probably not. Probably not.
I mean, if you hit on this.
Yeah, it's one of those. I think they should be gem hunting. And that's essentially what I'm doing here.
Yeah. Yes.
Gogo Patase is my guy.
There you go.
Deep into Gogo Patase. Okay. A lot to like there. Okay. Stretch 5 really can. I think if you give him a big role, it could work out.
Is Fontecchio just like a newer version of Gallinari?
I could kind of see where you're coming from. I think there's definitely more defense there, though. And he's got size and length.
Italian.
Hey.
6'8".
There you go. A lot to like with some of the gems that the guys have found. And we already know there's a lot to like with Malik Monk. How do they feel about Malik and the Magic attempting to take Malik from the Kings? Also, we have word on who will be representing the Kings at the lottery. It's already blown on the Sac Chat, but we will tell all of our car listeners. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Kevin Lewis with National Garage Door, reminding you that in Sacramento, National Garage Door is the king of garage doors. We service, sell, and install garage doors and openers. Call us today for your basketball special. A new 16x7 Rainer garage door with insulation and a belt drive opener for only $24.49 installed. Give us a call today, 916-638-4554.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Sunrise Marketplace invites you to the region's best backyard hangout on May 18th, featuring craft breweries, home brewers, food trucks, games, live music, and more. Use discount code BREW24 for $5 off general admission tickets now at shopsmp.com and help support Citrus Heights Heart and Citrus Heights Rotary.
Elevate your golf game at Timber Creek Golf Course in Roseville. Just named to the prestigious Golfers' Choice 2024 Top 25 Public Golf Courses in all of California by Golf Pass. Timber Creek offers an unparalleled experience. Our revamped practice facility features a grass driving range, expanded putting greens, and a chipping area complete with sand traps. Whether you're a pro or just starting your golf journey, Timber Creek is the place to be. Visit us and discover why we're the talk of Sacramento and beyond. Unwind and tee off at Timber Creek Golf Course. Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Guys, are you still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Sacramento offers guaranteed low T and ED treatments. And this month only, qualified patients get a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. Availability is limited. Book your free exam and consultation today. Call 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Play and win to take your loyalty to new heights at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. Sign up for Sky River Rewards and you'll get $15 free play to use on your first visit. Plus, you'll be in the know about upcoming special events and offers. Visit SkyRiver.com today. Gambling problem? Hawaii Hunter Gambler.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Keegan Murray. Keegan will be representing the Kings at the NBA draft lottery.
Interesting.
Surprised at all?
Am I surprised? I guess so. It kind of makes sense. It's, one of your younger star one of your better young players who's got some notoriety for sure, but it's whatever. There weren't many options. Typically they would send Vlade out there or something, and obviously Vlade's not super tied in with the organization anymore. That'd be a weird look for your ex-GM to be the your representation. Vivek, I don't know. Yeah, you could do Vivek there. I think it's it's fine. You know, it'd be nice if like Chris Webber or something would go. He was obviously really prominent towards the end of the season there. Doug, assistant coach or something, but you know, Keegan's that's usually, I mean, I feel like most teams will probably send their youngest star and just kind of do that. Like I'm sure Charlotte will send LaMelo out there. Maybe they'll send Brandon Miller out there or something like that. So sending Keegan's fine. Hopefully you're not in this situation often, you know?
Yeah. And then I do think it kind of does lend itself to something that we've talked about before with Keegan Murray maybe being more of a leader, and maybe I'm diving too deep into this.
Possibly.
But from Keegan Murray and the team, the team only or the player only meeting, how the word was that he spoke a lot more than you would expect in that, to the golf picture that we saw just a couple days ago.
That's
with
right. There was no
Malik
other
Monk.
players.
No other players besides Keegan and Malik Monk. So do with that what you will.
I will say let's go down that rabbit hole. Like it is, you could read too much into it, and you could definitely say like, is this them symbolizing Keegan's a franchise player? No, but it is still something where it's like, hey, we like you to be the face of us. Like, and it's not the face, but a face for our franchise. And, you know, as Keegan develops, hopefully this is just the initial stages of if Keegan does blossom, he's still number 4 pick in the draft. If he can be the Kings' second best player in a couple years down the line, like, you know, you want to start establishing these kind of relationships with the front office, with the organization, early in your career. You know, you want to be at the front of the line. The Kings are going to have a 13th pick this year. Of course, Keegan was the 4 pick, so he'll still probably have, be above the totem pole for faces. But he just wants to make sure that he is part of this organization's outlook, and I think it's just good for his career to get tied with the organization if he's going to stay around here for long.
Is it a stretch to say this means that Keegan is untouchable?
It's probably a stretch for this specifically, but for like, it's maybe to connect that dot to this is a little far, but I think it's all, you could argue that it's all connected. Right? This is another thing you can throw if you were to say, look how much the Kings like Keegan Murray. This is just another additive thing. This would not be the first thing I list, but it is something where it's like, yeah, hey, if you're planning on moving on from somebody this offseason, I would hope that you wouldn't put them front and center to be your representation.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm saying specifically this summer, right? Who knows during the regular season, whatever the case is, but for the immediate future, that's what it feels like. And maybe I am reaching. And if you are just now joining us, Keegan Murray will be representing the Kings.
Will he smile?
Yes. It won't be as big as at the golf outing, though. The golf outing was very much Keegan in his element. I do wonder how Dave's shooting today, by the way.
I would guess
his tee time was at 11.
We didn't ask him how the training went the other day.
That's right.
How the instruction went the other day. But I'd imagine how good of a student do you think Dave is? Like in terms of a learner.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I don't think so. I just think like maybe attention might wander.
Yeah. I feel like he'd be very self-loathing.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
I'm terrible. I can never get that.
But he's actually not bad.
Yeah. Oh, there's no way I don't think he's sold himself as bad at golf, but I think he's downplayed his skills.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. So Dave, I know you're blasting us right now in your golf cart or your walking.
He's got a fancy golf cart for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely
he's probably got video on it.
Yeah.
He's probably
watching us on YouTube.
That's right. Go low out there, Dave. Yeah. So Keegan Murray will be representing the Kings, and shout out to him, and just really starting to grow. A lot of people have worried. I know, Chris, you said it yourself, worried about, hey, Harrison Barnes, even though he is a great person to model your career and your professionalism after, as far as being more forward and asking for the basketball and being that dominant personality. Is this the best thing? But I think that we might be selling Keegan a little short, and we might be stretching this, but shout out to Keegan. And we're seeing on the text line as well, Keegan is going to have a big smile on his face when the Kings do the unthinkable.
That's right.
Make history.
Yep.
And get the number one.
Number
pick.
one. Yes.
There
Can't
you
wait.
go.
It's going to be a beautiful picture.
It has been unthinkable, these beefs that we have kind of been a part of. And the whole thing started.
It's like a Mad Lib almost.
Yeah, the whole thing started.
Wait, who's upset at who?
Yes, and we will get to Shaq and Shannon, but we do want to start with Austin Rivers and James Jones, because this thing went left extremely quickly. and there's actually another part that just dropped. This is literally just like the Drake and Kendrick beef.
Pretty much.
This just dropped while we were on with the Roundtable. By the way, shout out to the Roundtable with everything going on with the Keegan news. Didn't get a chance to tell them thank you for their good work as always. Brenden, Nunes, and Frankie Cartoscelli. Go check them out on social media. Go find them and check out their work on SactownSports.com. So, yes, now Austin Rivers has responded to James Jones, former NFL player who's on FS1. But let's start from the beginning here, and then we'll get to Shaq and his diss track with Shannon. And this is all within 48 hours. So this is what started it. Austin Rivers on Pat McAfee just having some fun with whether or not he did say it in a way. I'll let you be the judge on how serious he sounds. But the video, he's clearly being a little jokey.
Look at you. You're talking about the Cavs today. You're stretching out. We got to get you outside of that football lane, man, where the guaranteed contracts are, where the best athletes in the world are. That's us. I could take 30 players right now in the NBA and throw them in the NFL. You cannot take 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA.
It's because you only allow 5 on the court. Let's all relax.
It's because you're going to break every play. All you got to do is catch the ball and run north or south.
Listen, our sport,
it ain't complex.
Our sport's better. Our sport's better.
So that's essentially it, right? And initially, I didn't see the North-South thing. And it went viral. Yeah. Okay, Pat McAfee, one of the biggest shows right now, so not surprising. And he's being serious, but if you look at his face, he's just having some fun with it. This is a conversation that happens essentially every summer.
Probably every time a NBA player and an NFL player meet up, I'm sure some version of this conversation happens.
Yes, and it's the same thing. Every NFL player thinks they can be in the NBA. Yep. Every NBA player thinks they can be in the NFL. And every rapper thinks they can do both. So here is James Jones on, I think the show is called Speak on FS1. And I don't know why this really got James Jones going, but here is his initial response to Austin Rivers.
Number one, they put in a flop rule in the NBA because you guys are soft.
Oh, no. Oh, God. See, now you guys started.
You guys started a trend of rest games. That's what y'all started. And now y'all want extra votes and all that type of stuff to win the MVP because you only play 22 games out of 82. Y'all started that. So y'all all are. Number two, you said 30 dudes. If you would have said one dude, maybe Anthony Edwards could play safety or something, I'd have listened to you or something like that. You said 30 dudes. No. Number one, put respect on our sport. That's number one. It is not just run and catch the ball and turn around. It ain't just hand the ball off and do that. It takes a lot of work at your craft to do what we do on the football field. And Austin Rivers, if you stepped on the football field, homeboy, you wouldn't make it. We know that right now because you barely made it in the NBA. And I'm just keeping it a buck. Football is not an easy game, dog. That's why a lot of football players, basketball players that stepped on the football field, step right back on the basketball court because it's not an easy game. It's a lot that goes into the NFL. And you're not about to walk into the NFL and think you're just about to catch and turn around. Try again, homeboy. Do your research on the NFL, man. Watch some football games, old games, new games, whatever you want to watch, and catch up on it, man, because 30 dudes in the NFL and the NBA ain't doing that, homeboy. Drop the mic.
May 8th, 2024, James Jones, day to go in.
Okay. When we get back, there's part 2 of this. Austin Rivers responds, then James Jones responds back. There is a conversation to be had. Chris and I will break down the actual take. Yes, 30, that's too much. Was Austin Rivers completely out of bounds? Personally, I don't think so. We'll discuss. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
My father was a career United States Air Force pilot, and Memorial Day is a reminder of all he and so many others did for our country. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Right now at the annual Memorial Day sale, everything in the store is on sale. Everything. You'll save 10 to 25% on all living rooms, to sofas, to sectionals, to dining rooms, to bedrooms, to home offices, and so much more. Everything is on sale right now at Naturewood Home Furnishings Memorial Day sale. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, it's all available for you at savings from 10 to 25% at Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishing, off Highway 50 in Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
Hello, I'm Frank Cockworth, Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. How well do you know your neighbors? We always hear about the millionaire next door. According to Henley & Partners, if you lived in New York, one of your 24 neighbors could be a millionaire. New York City leads with 349,500 millionaires, with California's Bay Area a close second with 305,700 millionaires. While some of these millions are made in various business ventures, according to Fidelity, 420,000 of the total millionaires in the U.S. are 401k millionaires. A 401k is a workplace retirement plan available to working Americans. How does one become a 401k millionaire? The first step is to pay yourself first and begin making contributions. Many of the 401k plans offer employer matching contributions, so not contributing could be costing you money. According to Empower's study, 70% of Americans contribute to a 401k. 62% of workers value employer matching as a key component of retirement success, so offering this benefit may help you attract and retain key talent. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Frank Cockrell is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC and registered investment advisor. Retirement Security Centers is not an affiliate of Lincoln Financial Advisors.
At Elk Grove Honda, we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we'd buy from ourselves. And right now, you'll find interest rates as low as 1.99% APR on approved credit. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection. See our exceptional selection of Elk Grove Honda certified pre-owned Hondas with interest rates as low as 1.99% APR on approved credit. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Sacramento sports fans, get ready to amp up your summer with the Sactown Sports live events calendar. We've got a lineup that's awesome. First up on May 24th, don't miss Tribal Seeds as they bring their reggae beats to Ace of Spades, presented by Live Nation. And mark your calendar for June 8th when NF takes the stage at the Golden One Center. Visit livenation.com for tickets and get ready for a killer high-energy show. Don't miss music legends Daryl Hall and Elvis Costello with the Imposters on June 12th, and NSYNC and Backstreet artists Joey Fatone and AJ McLean on June 22nd. Two great shows coming in June to Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Then looking ahead to August 4th, get ready for the Outlaw Music Festival at the Toyota Amphitheater, presented by Live Nation. The Sactown Sports live events calendar, your ultimate playbook for the best shows and events in town. Stay tuned to Sactown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Continuing with the beefs. This is not a vegan Friday. There are plenty of beefs to go around. So where we left off, Austin Rivers, it's pretty innocent if you watched it or even if you heard it. Austin Rivers, yes, he was being a little coy with all you have to do is run north and south, and that's probably how some players do feel in the NBA. But Austin Rivers, number one, he never said that he could be in the NBA. He said he could find in the NFL. Said he could find 30 people. Yes, that number is a little bit high, but to be fair, there are way more jobs in the NFL. We get into semantics and logistics here. Well, are you saying they could be on a roster? Because I could probably find, and I tweeted this yesterday, I could probably find 15 to be on a roster. I don't think that's insane, right? But we'll discuss. Let's get through, and we're not even going to play the newest piece of this. So this is how Austin Rivers responded to James Jones' first response. And this is via Twitter. Been just sitting back listening to the chatter, but I can't help myself sometimes, LOL. James Jones, in parentheses, the Packer guy, I have never heard of you, but listen here, you little meathead, ... fall back, LOL. Talking about you barely made it in the NBA. Bro, I was lottery pick who has already played 11 years. You played 8 or 9 seasons in the NFL, and a bunch of emojis. Make it make sense. By your own logic, you really barely made it. You sound salty. Beat it. That was Austin Rivers. James Jones
had nothing to do with Austin Rivers' take. That's just like a straight up attack.
It was, now we've gone into this realm.
Yeah, they're not even talking about what the initial thing was,
because James started it with the attack when he basically said,
"You bum."
Yeah, you're bum, and James is doubled down here, no pun intended, and this is James Jones part 2.
Since I'm a meathead, I'm gonna stick with my homeboy, man, because we on TV. All right, I see 11 seasons, 7 different teams, top 10 pick. I see averaging 9 points a game over your career, 2 rebounds, 2 assists over your career. Top 10 pick. You know what that sound like to me? In the streets, we call you a bust. That's what that sound like. Now, if my daddy played in the NBA and I was coming out of the draft, I'd probably be a top 10 pick too, homeboy. But once I get into the league, I'd have handled my business. Now, I led the league in touchdowns. I won a Super Bowl in the highest league. You did none of that. You don't got no all-stars. You got no nothing. Well, you're not going to have that because you got 9 points, 2 assists, 2 steals in the game, 65% free throws. So I ain't even going to keep on going back and forth with you. All I'm going to say is you 6'4", 200, maybe you should have tried football. You might have had a better career, homeboy. Basketball was not your career with what I'm reading right here. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't go back and forth with people on Twitter, man. I ain't even really on that thing like that. So you got it, my brother.
We went from Meet the Grams to Meet the Rivers.
So, by the way, that's LaShawn McCoy and Emmanuel Acho hyping him up in the background. That whole thing was the background was so corny to me. And as someone who,
Simone, did you add that music in? Or is
that was their own.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good bit. It's a good bit.
So, yeah, this whole thing went left. What do you call it? Fair or foul on the whole thing? Austin Rivers, to me, caught a complete stray. He had no choice but to respond when James Jones starts coming at his career. I just think that it speaks to James Jones for some odd reason feeling disrespected. And I wasn't in the NFL, but I just don't think it should have ever gotten that deep to where you're now tearing down each other's careers.
Yeah, this is like a battle of the mid to me, where it's just like, what are we talking about? Like,
top 5 most random beef in 2024.
I actually don't mean this as any disrespect to James Jones. I have no idea who James Jones is. I mean, don't know.
I know who James Jones is.
I mean, maybe it's just because it's such a regular name. Like, there's James Jones, the basketball player. Like, I just, nothing about James Jones sticks out to me, but that doesn't really have anything to do with it. I just don't. This is two people who are disrespecting each other, but in the grand scheme of things, I would personally say I think the people who are at the top of their games would say, okay, these are two nobodies going back and forth with each other. It's probably a whole lot of nothing, but it's just strange to me that both of these guys who definitely have a lot to not be, I guess, super proud of, like the fact that they're going at each other like one of them is a GOAT. It's just really weird.
Just for transparency and to give a little context, when we were doing our rundown, I did have to Google that man's name.
James Jones.
Yes.
Yeah. And guess what? You probably had to type in
transparent about it.
Simone, you had to type in James Jones football.
Right.
Because if you just type in James Jones,
it's a mixed bag.
It's
a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag for sure. But he is there, Chris. He is.
Don't make me put up a poll. I'll ask people.
Do you? You could.
He said he led the NFL in touchdowns one season.
That's what he said.
I do not recall.
What about the actual? What about the actual take?
2012. The actual take itself is kind of. I think I fall somewhere near where you. I think you're a little bit more extreme than I am. I think. Probably I think they're both right. Like, yes, there's a ton of NBA players who probably could go over, but at the same time, would not be like they would be the stars of the NFL. Like, think about and granted, they weren't star level basketball players in college, but the basketball players that we've seen shift over to the NFL, the Jimmy Grahams, the Tony Gonzalez, Antonio, they're all tight ends, first off, because they're big, so they can block, but they're not receivers. They're not technicians. They don't have crazy good footwork, which is required to be a receiver, a DB. I think that there's a couple positions they could play, but I mean, I don't think that there's 30, and I think that there's not enough respect shown there for, like being a football player is really, really tough. And Austin's making it sound like it's just you have to have traits, and if you have the traits, they can be highlighted if you're put in the right spot.
And I don't know that isn't true. That's why. But
you can say the same thing about basketball. You could say, I can have Myles Garrett play like Reggie Evans, where, Myles Garrett might not score 30 a game, but he can get you 15 rebounds.
But that's why, to me, it's apples and oranges, and we're never going to get anywhere because of the logistics of it with NBA teams being so much smaller than NFL teams.
Yeah.
That's all it is to me. And as we talk about,
I think it's just the ease in which Austin seems to think it could happen is out of line.
And I think the reason James Jones reacted the way he did is because it's not the first time he heard it.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people think that these dudes are just freak athletes that slightly have a screw loose, and that's why they play football. And there's not as much skill required as there is in basketball.
It's Gronk. It's a league full of Gronks.
And I think that's why James Jones reacted the way he did, whether it was right or not. That's why I think he came with the venom he came with, because Austin Rivers, I think he was half joking.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've seen different guys. I mean, we saw LeBron's highlights in high school, and high school is obviously not college or the NFL. Ultimately, I think that you could find some guys on both sides. There's no way to completely clear it out, because there's just like I said, are we talking about just being on a roster or being as big of would Anthony Edwards be as big of a star in the NFL as he is in the NBA? I don't know.
I do think James Jones brings up some interesting points with the load management, because that's the part where it's like, Everybody says they can be a football. Like even Joe Schmoes will say, "I can be a football player. Oh, I'm fast. I can run a 4.40."
They play 17 games,
but it's. I just don't think that NBA players could deal with the physicality of football. They can,
but that's another conversation that I think Austin Rivers is just saying traits. A lot of guys I saw respond said just that mentality. Yeah. Are you willing to deal with it? And a lot of players aren't.
But that's why Austin Rivers' comment was so stupid, because he's just saying, yeah, you have traits, you can do it. Like they can do it. And it's like, well, no, you can't. If you can do one part of the game, that doesn't mean you can play the game.
But I think why James is feeling
targets.
James is feeling disrespected because I don't have to play football because I'm skilled in other ways. Football players have to play because they have these traits, but they're not skilled enough to play basketball. I'm just trying to read James's mind on why he was so ticked off.
Yeah, I think it's clearly a thing. He's heard it before, and he's just too upset.
It's clearly a thing. All right, next beef. This one is even better.
This one's crazy.
At first, this was our footnote beef, and then it went to another level. You have Shannon Sharpe reacting to Shaq's comments to Jokic when they congratulated him, in air quotes, on the MVP, and Shaq responds the only way Shaq can with a diss track, and we have that clip for you as well. Don't go anywhere. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Guys, are you ready to give up because you think you've tried everything and you're still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Sacramento has local medical providers that offer low T and ED treatments customized to each patient's unique physical makeup. By working with a specialized compounding lab, personalized treatments are guaranteed, even when generic pills and supplements haven't worked. It all starts with your free comprehensive exam and consultation. Availability is limited. Book today, and for this month only, Revive offers qualified patients a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. The experts at Revive Men's Health Sacramento will work to provide the right treatment for you so you can show up as the best you in all aspects of your life. Call 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or send them a private message at revivemenshealth.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Cattleman's.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Tape it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports. Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
The Beefy Friday continues as we have gotten through. And Chris, really interesting text line in the Sac Chat, 916-339-1140. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. From the 530, De'Aaron Fox would be one of the tallest wide receivers in the NFL. They're just completely different body types.
But De'Aaron's legs would be a target.
But that's actually not true because De'Aaron's, 6'3", 6'4"?
6'4".
That's a taller wide receiver, but, they're looking – I guess, Megatron was 6'5"?
6'5", yeah. Randy Moss probably the same.
I don't know if he'd be one of the tallest. I think
he'd be one of the tallest probably.
I'm pretty sure.
Mike Evans, maybe.
I just watched a video from T. Higgins. And T. Higgins was saying a lot of the same things as this conversation has started. He said he was choosing between football and basketball. And, somebody asked him, why did you choose football? And he said, 6'4", I'm huge on the football field. 6'5", I'm a guard.
Yeah.
And basketball is actually getting taller.
Yes.
That's also the issue as well. And that's why it is such a nuanced conversation. I just think you can look at skill versus opportunity, right? I would say NFL, there are a lot more opportunities,
right?
But just because there are more opportunities, that doesn't mean it requires less skill.
Right.
We've talked about how NBA is the most higher power led sport there is, because if you wake up and you're 5'8", if you have other traits, you can still make it in the NFL.
Sure.
If you wake up and you're 5'8", these days, is a Nate Robinson, and I think there are a couple floating around.
Marquise
Noel, but
he's
he's not even on a roster.
Yeah.
The kid that I joked about, Jacob.
Gilliard.
Gilliard.
Yeah.
He got released from the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's like Davion and Jose Alvarado, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Davion's 6 foot.
Yeah.
He's 6 foot.
Yes, he
okay,
is.
that's it. He's a tall running back. So that's what we're talking about here. And 916 is bringing up the
Davion would be a great corner.
Oh, he would be. He'd be no fly zone.
Corner. He would be sick because to your point too. He's 6 foot. Maybe you can list him at 6'1". Like he would be I guess for corner standards, he would be a bigger corner.
Yes.
Not a big corner, but a bigger one.
Yes. We have June on the line who wants to talk some WNBA and Monarchs. What's up, June? Happy Friday. What you got for us?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you loud and clear.
Okay, well, I'm a Kings season ticket holder, and my husband got us season tickets to the Monarchs every year that they were in town.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, he died before the team was disbanded, so it didn't break apart. But what I remember, and I saved it on my computer, but I'm out right now shopping at Rayleigh's. I think it was called a signing sheet between the Kings and the city.
Mm-hmm.
It said in there that they would try to bring back the Monarchs. I think it actually has that, verb.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to let you guys know that I've saved that all these years.
Yeah, thanks for the call, June. That's great stuff.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your shopping there.
Friday shopping is always the best.
Yeah, and June is leading us to the WNBA as they announce Toronto will be next on their list. The Bay Area just got their expansion team. Now Toronto is next on the list. I do think we have some not so great news for June and other WNBA fans. And Chris and I were just living in dream world during a couple breaks ago. What if Caitlin Clark came to Sacramento? And Chris is saying, just from content perspective, everything, it would be crazy. But Chris, what I'm talking about is you were playing some sound with Brenden during one of the breaks, and and one of the leaders of the WNBA started to discuss who's next on the list, but Sacramento was not on that list.
Yeah, the WNBA commissioner listed out a good amount of city names, and one of the names listed was not Sacramento. She did say, and I think we have the audio, but she does say some other cities have reached out to her, which she didn't mention. But if we have it, then here's what she got to say.
Plan and goal is to get to 16 teams in the next few years. So we're at 13 with the Golden State team. Our plan is to get 3 more in the next few years. We're talking to a lot of different cities. I think I've thrown out names before. It's complex because you need arena and practice facility and player housing and all the things. You need committed long-term ownership groups. And so the nice thing is we're getting a lot of calls. We continue to engage with cities. I'll throw some of those out there because I've already thrown them out there. We continue to engage with cities like Philadelphia and Toronto and Portland and Denver and Nashville and South Florida and probably forgetting one. But those are the cities we're talking to. But I mean, just last week, we got 2 calls from 2 other cities, and these can either take a very long time to negotiate or can happen pretty quickly if you find the right ownership group with the right arena situation. So we're on our way to 16. That will add 48 roster spots in just a couple of years. That in a league of 144 is a lot. So that's 30%. And I think it'll be great when we get those done over the next couple of years. So 26 is definitely our goal for certainly the next one. And then shortly thereafter, if not then, or the year or 2 after. So by 28, I'd say I feel pretty confident we'll be at 16 teams.
And that's a little scary because all the cities she listed there, we've been having the market conversation, especially this week. Philly, Toronto just got named the recipient of the expansion franchise this morning. Philly, Toronto, Denver, Nashville, South Florida, which I would assume is
crazy,
possibly Miami, Orlando, any of those. And then she said we got calls from 2 other cities. Hopefully that's Sacramento. Hopefully
what
one
does
of
that
those
mean?
cities is Sacramento.
We got call, so we get calls, but then we still have to say yay or nay. Are they deciding or?
Yeah, I would think
hey,
that
we want one.
I think it's just pitching. Yeah, I think it's just letting them know that we would like to be considered in the conversation. The commissioner listed out a couple things that she was looking for in those cities. Practice facility. The Kings have a fan base. They already know the Kings can supply that. So I think it's maybe just saying, hey, you listed, you in the past have listed requirements for what you're looking for. You might not think of us as first on your list, but you have the Indiana Fever. There's no reason why you can't have the Sacramento Kings when Sacramento. I know Indiana. You got the Hoosiers. You got the history of basketball up there, but from a pure love of the game perspective, Sacramento is just as much of a good market as Indiana is.
It's funny. I saw this come across my timeline a couple days ago. So in case anybody, and I know someone's thinking right now, either driving in their car or shopping, whatever they may be doing, or checking us out on YouTube, what about the Arco Reno area? And I just saw this article from our partners over at KCRA. Sacramento leaders approve funding outline for plan towards transforming site of Arco Arena. So they have plans to turn that thing into something else. So
I think it's already in motion.
Yeah. If anybody was thinking, what about, it's not going to be there.
No.
It wouldn't be there. And that's a good question, right?
Well,
now
they could play in the Kings arena.
Yeah. I don't know.
Playing the Bay team's playing at Chase.
Yeah. It's a matter of right now. Would they say, oh, Can everybody do that? I have no clue. The practice, can you just use all the NBA practice facilities? We don't know, I guess, what the line is of what they're looking for.
I'd imagine Stockton Kings use the facility up still at Arco site. I would imagine that's probably where they would use theirs too, because there would be some conflict with the WNBA season over summer and then summer league and you have maybe early stages of training camp or just guys coming in to get work. So, there's a little bit of flexibility that would be needed. But I think the market is definitely good enough. I think people have been clamoring for the Monarchs. I do remember when Vivek had initially when they were saving the team, and I don't know why I do that in air quotes. They definitely did save the team. When all of that stuff was going on, a part of the pitch. It was never to my knowledge, it was never written down, but it was heavily implied that they were going to try and bring the Monarchs over. We have seen really no such effort, but that doesn't mean that things aren't working and moving forward. I think it's a bit of a disappointment if you're someone who is rooting for the Kings or for Sacramento to get the Monarchs back. I do think like them choosing to go to the Bay is probably not great because they still have so many other parts of the country that they haven't touched.
That's
you might
true.
just say Northern California might not be a big enough fan base to do both teams.
Well, I would say, it does help the rivalry, and I'm going to continue to call it a rivalry between the Kings and the Warriors, right? Yeah. Hey, what if we made a WNBA version of that? Yeah, that would be cool because they didn't get to experience that when the Monarchs were here because the Bay didn't have a team.
It was just the Sparks. The Sparks were our rival because that was more Kings-Lakers time
right.
as well.
So you have an opportunity there, but I completely hear what you're saying. I think the place I want to take this is, Vivek has some decisions to make. And again, there's more stuff coming out about Vegas. But this A's thing, that is not a for sure thing. We know Vivek kind of maybe leaked the expansion situation with Major League Baseball. They have a bunch of problems with all their empty seats and things like that. But Vivek, you can use the Sacramento A's situation to prove to the WNBA, hey, we got it all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And we're packing this thing out every single day for a team that they're essentially renting our spot for free. Imagine what we could do for the WNBA. So I think that would be my approach with Vivek. Not to say that the A's thing wouldn't happen, but it's getting to a point now here, and you still have people. We get texts about the Sac Republic and going to the MLS, Major League Soccer. So it does get to a point. Vivek is. I would love to say me and Vivek are similar in some facets, but bank accounts maybe not. But just the idea of jack of all trades here, you're going to have to prioritize this stuff, and I don't doubt that he will. And you're still trying to get the Kings to the mountaintop, right?
Yes, yeah.
So
can't spread yourself too thin.
You can't spread yourself too thin because there's no way I can believe that he didn't make a call at the WNBA. There's no
I would
way.
think so, right? Because this dude is talking about having every single day something to happen in SAC. The WNBA is the biggest, sports market besides maybe the UFC that's growing at a rapid pace. You would think that you would want to get in on that as much as you can. Plus, you have, as we said, all the history that makes it make sense. If you're Vivek and you didn't call, you're not doing a good job, because it just makes so much sense for the Kings to, at the very least, try and get their foot in the door for expansion conversations for the WNBA. It would be great. I mean, it would be incredible.
Steve Will on the SAC chat says, if the people in SAC really wanted a WNBA team, we'd still have one. We won a championship,
not true at all.
And still not enough people came to make a decent enough
one of the most ignorant comments I think I've ever heard in my life.
It's a different time.
Look at the Maloof's pocket is what I would say. The Maloof, the organization folded, and it was because the Maloofs they were losing money incredibly fast, just through their businesses, not because of the Monarchs. I'm not saying the Monarchs were 100% a profitable organization, but the reason why they don't exist anymore is not because they weren't drawing fans. It's because the Maloofs were broke.
Adrienne Maloof, Real Housewife.
Is he really?
No, she was.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, of course.
There you go.
Right.
WNBA is just in a different spot now, and we're not going to blame the fans. Stiles and Watkins, back to the beef when we return. Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
You've been waiting all winter for the snow to melt and the golf course to awaken. It's time for your long-awaited spring golf getaway to Plumas Pines Golf Resort in beautiful Gray Eagle, California. The timing is perfect to take advantage of Plumas Pines Spring Special. You can walk the course for $75 or ride for $90, available 7 days a week through May 23rd. Beneath towering pines adjacent to the Feather River, Plumas Pines Golf Resort offers a spectacular round of mountain golf. You'll love the grandeur of the Sierra, the calmness of Gray Eagle, and the wonderful test of golf at Plumas Pines with spring special rates of $75 to walk and $90 to ride 7 days a week until May 23rd. Make your reservation at PlumasPinesGolf.com. Whether you visit for the day or stay a few days, Plumas Pines Golf Resort will make your play memorable. Visit PlumasPinesGolf.com and make your tee time reservations for the spring special rates available 7 days a week. That's PlumasPinesGolf.com.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
A lot of beefs. Beef everywhere. Okay? With NFL and NBA, with WNBA and where they're headed next. And now we get to, it's just so funny to me. Now we get to the second of our beefs with Shannon Sharpe and Shaquille O'Neal. So essentially, Shannon on, I think this one is Club Shay Shay. What's the one with Ocho Cinco? That is that Club Shay Shay?
I didn't even think about that podcast. Yeah,
that's
not Club
from.
Shay Shay. Club Shay Shay
is the one where
like
he's
the Cat Williams
okay.
and like the. Yeah.
Oh, what is the other one?
I have no idea.
Nightclub Shay?
I have no idea. Club Shay Shay, maybe? Is there? No, wait. No, that's what we just said is the other one. I have no idea. I can't keep up. Because now he's on for he's permanently on First Take.
Nightcap.
I cannot.
That one is Nightcap.
It's Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe for me is just like he's a step too much. It's just like it's just a little bit too excited.
So this is how this all starts. We played the audio from Shaquille O'Neal yesterday where he starts off by, did he actually? Yeah, he congratulated Jokic first, then immediately say, I keep it real. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should win. And then says, "You guys are down 0-2. How do you fix this?" So Shannon Sharpe on Nightcap, and for some reason Gilbert Arenas was on there too. And Shannon Sharpe says to Ocho Cinco and Gilbert Arenas his thoughts on what Shaq said. Then Shaq responds, and then Shannon actually responded back to that, but that one was a bit longer, so we'll just explain. And then we have the Shaq diss track that dropped today. But this is how it all started with Shannon and Shaq.
5 MVP. He sees a guy like Nikola Jokic that's not as dominant as him and gets 3 and 4 years. But see, when you historically great, they talk about you as great basketball player, the GOAT, and Shaq is never brought up. And I think a part of him is envious of that.
When we talk about the greatest basketball players of all time as far as the GOAT conversation, Shaq's name is never brought up in that?
Yeah. It's hard for me to put somebody in the GOAT conversation with 1 MVP, regular season. It's hard, Gil. So we're going to take somebody with 1 regular season MVP and put him in front of people that got 3, that got 4, that got 5. If Shaq if he'd had my work ethic, he'd have had 40,000 points.
So basically he's saying, I think the reason Shaq is taking little digs at Jokic is because
jealousy. And Shaq, look, we all have regrets. Maybe Shaq regrets not working as hard, and Shaq just goes based on what he uses a lot of what I was at my peak versus my actual accomplishments, right? And he's very accomplished, but he isn't in the conversation for greatest ever. No. So this was Shaq's response. You took me sticking up for Shea as jealousy of Joker. Shows how smart you are and how you say anything to get clicks. So here's some clickbait for you. If you ain't ranked in the top 10 in your profession, then you can't speak on me. Don't forget, I know what you did to get where you're at. I don't know what that means. Me jealous sounds like you jealous. I know you trying to stay relevant right there. Me jealous, you jealous.
I know you trying to stay relevant by gossiping on your podcast. We don't believe you. You need more people in case you forgot. 4 rings, 3 finals MVP, top 50 and top 75. Google me. And to be quite frank,
does love Google me.
All this new success you got, you still under me. You don't know my work ethic, but Shaq, you've admitted yourself.
Yeah.
You've admitted yourself you could have worked harder, okay? But according, I'm reading it, this is not me messing up, but according, I work less than you do. If you need help making money, it's better ways than gossiping. I'm too old for this bleep. Love always the most dominant big man ever never took it serious. Remember, I don't know you. And in the words of @Skip Bayless, I'm better than you. G14, classification, wow. I have it.
Oh boy.
You do not, not in my profession. And your GOAT debate, never wanted to be the GOAT. I wanted to be who you should greet me as, all caps, the most dominant ever, hashtag the apex predator. And then Shannon responds with 3 minutes. He reads his response, so that takes about a minute. And then kind of goes back on the same thing. Like I said, I don't think it's necessary, but it is necessary.
It's very necessary.
So after that, Shannon responds and just says more of the same. And Shaq, out of nowhere, as we're during a break, Chris says, Shaq dropped a diss track. So I don't know how long it is, but we have a 30-minute snippet. 30-second snippet. I hope it's 30 minutes. I'll listen to it on the way home. And this is what Shaq had to say.
Man, you're way beneath me. Your whole demeanor is faker than new rapper beefy. Your song, before you get fly, you rather tweet me. I was in 3 different cars when you was in 3 feet. All I see is dollar signs. They come in 3D. Make it hot. Ain't no way around my degree. You are not in my spot. You are like a peewee. Shula got them calling me Rocky the way I reread. I get to the greenback. I don't mean a lawnmower. Jet flying, foreign driving, Best Buy and Downpour.
Did he say get to the green, no lawnmower?
Yeah.
What?
You a peewee.
You a peewee. First of all, I thought that was Ricky Rose. I thought that was Rick Ross.
You say the way I'm getting this Rocky, call me Riri or something? Like,
yeah. Call me Riri.
Yeah, ASAP Rocky.
Yeah.
Riri.
Yes, they are. They
Beautiful.
are together.
Yeah. Sounds like a 50-something-year-old guy trying to freestyle,
Uncle. Yeah, Unc. And they call it Shannon
He should
Sharpe
stay
Unc.
DJ Diesel.
Diesel.
Stay on that side.
We're going to have to play that again when we get back.
Crazy.
And Steven, we see you. we will get you as well. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
It's a toss to McCaffrey, a cutback 130, breaks 340. McCaffrey midfield. McCaffrey 40, 30, 20, and toasted all the way down to the 3-yard line on the first play of the game. CMC Dynamite!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HYBRID to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HYBRID for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HYBRID for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Across Sacramento, air conditioners are firing up, and with them, power bills are going through the roof. Are you ready for your utility bill to soar even higher next month? Since 1980, Aztec Solar has helped thousands of homeowners save money because going solar is like getting an extra paycheck every month. We call it the Aztec Paycheck. How big of a paycheck? Find out at yourpowersavings.com. Visit yourpowersavings.com and Aztec Solar will text you how much money you'll save every month. Find out how much you'll save now at yourpowersavings.com. It's fast, easy, and reliable. Stop paying the power company and start paying yourself. Looking for a deal? Here's a timely offer from Aztec Solar. You can own a solar electric system for just $99.95. Cash price after incentives. Don't waste another dollar. Visit yourpowersavings.com and keep your money where it belongs, in your pocket. Aztec Solar. Solar and only solar since 1980.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Continuing the conversation, taking you up to 2 p.m. Drive Guys coming up next as well. We're talking a lot of different beefs today, and a lot of people have some things to say about Shaq and Shannon, and really it's another version of this NFL versus NBA
kind
beef.
Of, yeah, it is.
That is really, really heating up, and it showed up out of nowhere, Chris. It truly
really did. Well, like, when did this really heat up then? Because I guess Jokic was announced on Wednesday. Like, did this literally all happen yesterday? Like, it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think Shannon initially responded yesterday, and then Shaq also responded yesterday, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like those two, they're big enough stars to keep this going for sure. I mean, Shaq's going to be around on Tuesday and Thursday, at least for, I think they still are doing TNT games. So, I'm sure this won't be the end of it. And, this is also kind of like a rap battle where it feels like both of these guys are probably at the end of the day benefiting from it.
Let's get to Steven, 916-339-1140, if you want to be a part of the conversation. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Steven, happy Friday. What you got for us?
Happy Friday to you boys as well. All right, Chris, I'm outing you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I keep receipts. I'm good at that. Alan, this is going to tie in with a question. Do you prefer a perfect game by a pitcher, or do you want to see dingers? Because Chris is one of them where he doesn't want to go to a baseball game to see a perfect game. I don't think he has an appreciation for a perfectly pitched game. And for you being the in-house baseball guy, and this conversation between Chris and I believe it was Whitey.
Yeah, it was Whitey.
I meant terrible. But I wanted to see how you felt on the matter. Not necessarily outing you, but I'm definitely poking some fun at you, my guy. But, how do you feel about the matter? When you go to a game, do you want to see a perfect pitched game, or do you want to see dingers?
That's a great question, Steven. And, as a future politician.
Can I guess how you're going to answer?
Sure.
I think, surprisingly, you're going to be on my side of it. Go ahead. Don't go ahead and do.
It's got to be more nuanced, right? Because I'm just a deep thinker.
Sure.
And a free thinker.
That's right.
And This is what I would say. If I'm at a game, I want the score to be 15-14. If I'm watching on TV, I'll watch a no-hitter.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'd say. I don't want to go to a game and not see any action. I'd rather there be 8,000 home runs while watching there, but I will sit there and watch a no-hitter alert. For sure.
My guy. That's exactly what I said.
Chris, when was that game? Was it back in December? The game that you went to, it was Raiders
yes,
Vikings,
exactly.
The scoreless game for a hot minute.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah. And that's my point is like, and we all say we want to see defense wins championships, all this stuff. But it's like for entertainment purposes, the point of these games is to see the scores. Like we go to basketball to see high scoring games, to see dunks and threes and all this stuff. We go to football to see touchdowns, to see acrobatic plays, to see long runs. I go to a baseball game, want to see some home runs. Sure. If you can get some form of a pitching battle, maybe some intense ABs that go either way. Sure. Absolutely. But if I'm going to a baseball game, the last thing I want to do is just sit there and watch two guys play catch for, I guess now it's 2 hours, but previously it was like 2:45.
Here's the and
I get the history
Steven,
part of it.
I gotcha.
But it's also like you're one hit away from it just being a bad game you went to.
If it's
a one hitter, you're telling me that's fun to go to?
No. If it's a guaranteed no hitter because you get your phones out. And I do think I went to one that got to the 7th inning or something like that.
And I'm sure it's fun. I'm sure it's exciting. There's a buzz.
Would I love to go to a no-hitter if I knew it was going to be a no-hitter? Yeah, I think that would be fun. But if I'm just going to a random game and then I got to sit through all that and then they get a hit in the 8th inning, I've just watched a really boring baseball.
Exactly my
Hopefully
point.
your team wins.
My God.
Right? So it's tough, Steven. It's not as straight up as I initially said. I do appreciate it, but there's no guarantee. If there was a guarantee, you get to watch a no-hitter or you get to watch a bunch of home runs, it's probably closer. But the fact that you don't know and it could end at any moment, that would be tough. And speaking of, we have, this is from a couple days ago, as MLB Network had the Dodgers featured, surprise, surprise. And the announcer, Greg Amsinger, was feeling good about Yoshinobu Yamamoto's chances against the lowly Marlins. And he goes on to essentially say, and they do this thing on MLB Network where they deem something a no-hitter alert. Now, typically they do that when you're in the 7th inning or the 8th inning or closer to the game being over. They were so confident in Yamamoto's ability to just shut down the Marlins that he declared it, and they had a graphic for it show up on MLB Network that we are officially on no-hitter alert. Of course, he was, I think, half kidding, maybe a quarter kidding, and this is what my guy, Jazz Chisholm, did on the first pitch of the game.
But we are already a no-hitter alert. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, before he throws a single pitch tonight against the Marlins, we have a no-hitter alert. Okay. Enjoy what could be a no-hitter from Yamamoto.
Jazz, when your first pitch.
Right here on MLB Network for Harold, CY, I'm Greg. We have a no-hitter alert. Enjoy this game live on MLB Network.
Boy, it's in the major leagues to establish himself as that guy. Dodgers looking for a 6th straight win and a 13th out of their last 15 after they took the first game 6-3 last night. Yamamoto comes home and off we go, and the aggressive Marlins get a first pitch swing and a high fly ball and a home run for Jazz Chisholm on the first pitch.
There was no edits. Not a single edit in that clip.
Just straight through.
There's an announcer jinx, and then there's that. That is
elite announcer jinx right there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was nuts.
That's how you know the universe probably doesn't like you. If you're gonna go out there and I feel like he was definitely, he was absolutely just having fun, but to just have it immediately, because he said no, for it to not just be a hit, but a freaking dinger first pitch is insane. That is crazy bad luck.
I wonder, unless he's a double agent.
Maybe
he's a double agent, doesn't like the Dodgers.
That's right.
Tried to put that jinx on him on purpose.
I don't know why you would do it otherwise.
I don't know why you would do that. Who does that? Yeah. Nobody does that.
Has Yamamoto been killing it this year? Has he been anything
he's
extraordinary?
Nasty. Yeah,
he's nasty.
I think that might have been the only run he gave up.
Okay. Well, then that's how you really know that the universe hates you then. That's even worse. That's incredible. That is chef's kiss right there.
Yeah, it was definitely something else. And the way it happened was just literally perfect. The way the timing was great. And then
after they took the first game 6-3 last night.
We just have to hear it again.
Yamamoto comes home and off we go, and the aggressive Marlins
the crack of that bat.
How about that crack of the bat?
For Jazz Chisholm on the first pitch.
Yeah, he's 4-1, Yamamoto, 2.79 ERA.
Okay.
And
what's the whip?
The whip is 1.
Okay.
He's 16th in whip. He is 16th in Ks, and he is 9th in record. He's 23rd in ERA. So he's definitely he's
been nasty.
He's been nasty, but I think that that's what the Dodgers expect out of him. I think really his numbers still haven't completely adjusted from that first outing he had that didn't go too well, but he's been cruising pretty much ever since. So yeah, that was great stuff there, a great jinx. But sorry, Steven, I am torn on it, but yeah, I would like to see a little bit of action if I'm going to be there for close to 3 hours. When we return, Simone grabs the mic. Simone Says Radio. That's how you can find her on X/Twitter. And we talk some more Dodgers, but with someone who is no longer with the Dodgers and its connection to Simone's favorite show, The Real Housewives. She'll explain when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system? You were a bit surprised at how much it cost, or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
Guys, are you still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Sacramento offers guaranteed low T and ED treatments. And this month only, qualified patients get a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. Availability is limited. Book your free exam and consultation today. Call 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT 5.3 liter in stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive. All in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Ends 5/31/24.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
We have jinxes, we have beefs, we have lotteries. We've had it all on this Feel Good Friday fun day. Steven checking in on what we had to say about the no-hitter versus a very exciting Major League Baseball game, saying it's good perspective. Thank you, Steven. And we will have shout-outs and closeouts. But first, as promised, this is a collab between Chris and Simone.
Yes.
I could basically turn my mic off because Chris initially started it and then Simone kind of took it as well. So this is great stuff, and I am going to, without further ado, leave it to the both of you.
Yeah, I'll set up Simone here, and she'll I'll do the D-Wade
I'm backfilling, just some details, some context.
Throw it down. So this story came across the wire the other day. When was it? It was May 8th. So on Wednesday is when this kind of first popped up, and when I first saw the headline, Simone was the first person I thought of to be able to give some context, I guess, to what this report is, maybe just even what it's about. And I'm gonna need help, even just from the pronunciation of this. Simone, who exactly is this? You can give a brief bio with it as well, but who is this that we're going to be talking about?
Ryan Boyajian.
Boyajian.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very phonetic, but yes.
Okay.
I have to look it up. So.
And so this is from an ESPN article that dropped again on Wednesday at about 3:30. Ryan Boyajian, a current cast member of Bravo's reality TV series, The Real Housewives of Orange County, is the bookmaker's associate to whom Ipe wired money to pay his gambling debts. Multiple sources with knowledge of the investigation have told ESPN. Mizuhara, Ipe, is accused of stealing $16 million from the Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani, and that obviously led to this whole scandal of everything. Simone, I'm first of all just curious, like, does this guy have sports what is so The Real Housewives of whatever city they're doing of, it is based off of, I mean, housewives, right? Like it's they're from some sort of fortune, but these women are just staying home and their husbands are massive breadwinners. Is that the case with all of them?
I mean, it's just a show. I would say it's a show centered around women, and the husbands or partners, or sometimes they're divorced or widowed or whatever. You don't necessarily have to come with a person to be a housewife. But in this case, I mean, I will be transparent. Orange County was the first Housewives installment, but my last Infinity Stone. So I'm actually going back and watching old seasons, but I know all the players. I've watched the current ones, and now I'm going back and starting the whole thing. Anyways,
does this dude have any sort of sports ties, or is this pretty much just out of nowhere?
No.
Is he in financials? Like what?
I mean, they're always affluent. I think that really gets that's very prevalent in Orange County. I mean, they fly out, they take nice trips, they eat nice food. He always gave me the chills. So the story,
so a little skeevy.
Self-admitted cheater. I mean, just a vile person on the Bravo airwaves. So
self-identified cheater.
Yes, exactly. With his ex-wife, he admitted that on TV, mic'd up, and just that happened multiple times. And so not a good guy. So if this is leading into that, we got some investigations to do.
Very, very interesting. And I don't know how much has necessarily came from this, but the associate is Boyajian, who used the account with Boyer for their real estate projects, according to the sources. Boyajian, 47, and Boyer, 49, have been close friends and business associates for nearly 20 years. When Boyer declared bankruptcy in 2011, court records show Boyajian loaned him $245,000. So I guess this is just kind of a case of he's essentially just the middleman of whoever the bookie. I guess they're saying the bookie is this Boyer character, and I guess Boyajian was just the middleman who was collecting. It's just so, Simone, this is completely, for all intents and purposes, out of nowhere. Like there was no connection with Dodgers. He's never been pictured with Shohei or anything like that.
Correct. And this is
so weird.
The men or partners on the show are a little bit more of like satellites, complementary to the women, which, obviously are featured and everything. So, I mean, the scenes that I've seen with him, he's a very chilling man. But I will let you know, I wonder if any of this starts to become, they just wrapped filming for their latest season.
Interesting.
And he proposes to her like on camera. So I wonder if we'll also get a little bit more of like, we're going to Dodger Stadium, or we're going to check this out, that could be upcoming. And then I'm going to be screaming at the TV, look.
That's insane. So this is again from that same ESPN.com article. Sources told ESPN that Mizuhara paid his losses to Boyajian, who forwarded the money to his own quote unquote to his own marker accounts at Resorts World in Southern California. Boyajian and Boyer then both withdrew the chips from the marketer account, gambled with them, and if they won, they cashed out. So essentially, they were then taking the money that Ipe was giving them and gambling that.
Yeah.
So why does that matter?
I would guess kind of what Simone said. It kind of cleans the money because then it's, I guess, it's your
that's
winnings.
money laundering.
Yeah.
I see. But they could lose it.
Yes, you definitely can. Yeah. But I guess the thought is that he owes you $16 million, and maybe at some point you'll break even or win. ESPN reported last week that Resorts World is at the center of what federal authorities described as an affidavit, described in an affidavit as an investigation into illegal sports bookmaking organizations operating in Southern California and the laundering of the proceeds of those operations through casinos in Las Vegas. So essentially, this is all tied into a much bigger investigation that has to do with the legal sports.
And like I said, I'd bet my bottom dollar that when the new season comes out, they're going to be going to that Resorts World. And it's like, look, honey, like this is so nice. And like we're now, because we are in the future, so to speak, with what's happening, we're going to be like, that's terrible. We already know why he's going to get clapped up. And why do we go on reality TV if we're doing illegal things or allegedly illegal things?
I never got that one.
Yeah. It just definitely shines a bright light onto you and makes people wonder, especially when it's like, okay, if you're this rich, like I should probably know what you're rich for.
Right.
At some point you kind of shine a light on yourself and it makes people dig into where you get your money from. And then you find out.
They think they're untouchable.
They sure do.
That's how all of these guys end up going down.
I'm too famous. Drake's wild, but that was Drake's defense is I'm too famous for these things to be true. And it's like, I do think there's a lot of people who think that's a reasonable defense mechanism is, oh no, there's no way the more famous I become, the more shielded I am because no one's going to suspect the famous rich person. It's insane.
I've seen so many people go to jail once they agree to do this show because it shines a light on their life. Many of my housewives have gone to jail.
Remember that one? Yeah. Well, the difference was that one back in the day, and I think one of them actually passed away, but mob wives.
Yeah.
I think a lot of their husbands were already in jail.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
yeah.
Maybe the message is the overall message from this, reality TV stars. Maybe not the best role models.
Probably not.
Maybe not people we should be looking at.
I watch them because I critique them.
Oh, no. I mean, it's a train wreck. Absolutely.
Yes. I've always been of the mindset you need some TV that stimulates you, and then you need some TV that is just
entertainment.
Drake and Kendrick, right?
Yes, I love trashy TV.
Music that fuels you and some that pacifies you.
I'm all in it. Quickly before we get out of here, shout outs and closeouts. I am going to shout out the weather because we're finally getting some good weather on the weekend. I think it's rained for the last, I don't know, it feels like the last 5 Saturdays in a row.
Yes.
So everybody get out there,
it's
get
like
some
91 degrees.
Yeah, get some vitamin D and go enjoy yourself.
What do you got, Chris?
Absolutely. My shout out will be my parents. They went out to they're in Europe right now. They just left without me, and
there's
so we
a
got
special half of that parents maybe going into this weekend. I was gonna try not let you guys get cooked on this segment. But
well,
we got a special
shout out to all the mothers.
There it
Yes,
is.
all the mothers out there.
Absolutely.
Yes, Mother's Day on Sunday. Go out to brunch. Go get lunch.
Grab
go
a
get dinner.
brunch with my grandma on Sunday. Should be fun.
Tip people.
Tip heavily. Mother's Day especially. Mother's Day is one of the craziest days in the food industry. So if you're grabbing brunch, grabbing breakfast, please tip your servers.
There you go. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. Enjoy your weekend. Again, shout out to all the mothers out there. We will talk to you on Monday. Thank you to Simone, all the good work. Thank you to Brenden, Nunes, Frankie, Cartoscelli, all the calls, all the texts, all the sack chat. The Drive Guys up next with Whitey Gleason and Jay Johnson. Until Monday, secure the bag. Like the bean.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hey, movie fans, playing this week at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the IMAX experience.
This was a human place. It is not yours.
It is now, isn't it? The combination of groundbreaking visuals and the immersive experience of the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen will make this an epic event. Don't miss out on the opportunity to see the next chapter, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, at the Esquire IMAX Theater. Grab your tickets at IMAX.com/Sacramento and reserve your seat today.